We've re-simulated through 72 years of World Cup history so far, and today we have 6 tournaments left to see which nation comes out on top and gets crowned the Re-Simulation World Cup champion. We'll be time traveling through 3 decades in this video alone, so with an abundance of World Cup memories to relive and revisit, let's take a quick look at how things currently stand with the winners list so far. Leading the way with a 2-trophy margin at the top, it is Italia. The Azzurri are sitting pretty, and I know, I get it, I won't beat the allegations anytime soon, but it is what it is, lads. You can have your doubts and conspiracies in the comments below. It'd be boring to just see Italy win all the time. I want a tight competitive race to see who will come out on top, but right behind them we've got Brazil with 3, Hungary won 2, all the way back in 1938 and 1954. England have got a double up. Meanwhile, Argentina, Uruguay, Poland, and the Netherlands are all on the board. Some big nations still haven't gotten on the board yet, like famously Germany losing 5 World Cup finals alone. France and Spain are also yet to make a mark, so let's see if they can all change their fortunes around. As first up on the plate today, we've got the 2002 World Cup held in Japan and Korea. We've got plenty of storylines, action, and drama to cover in this mega finale. So get your popcorn out, get some snacks, because this will be the finale to end all finales. Before we get into it though, lads, if you want to cop FIFA 16 for free, I'll leave the link down in the description below, or if you want to purchase it on G2A, I'll have my affiliate link listed at the top of the description, so you guys can also get in the fun and play with this free classic patch at home. I appreciate all the love and support you guys have shown on this mini-series so far. I've had a blast doing it, so I hope we end off with a bang today. Just let me know down in the comments below, what was your first or favorite World Cup memory, whether you watched your nation lift the World Cup high, you suffered some World Cup heartbreaks, and what has been your favorite World Cup tournament of all time. I guess I was technically alive for this 2002 World Cup, but I actually don't remember it whatsoever. Some of you watching though might have fonder memories than me, so let's just dive straight into the group stages here with Group A. The hosts are nowhere to be seen, with Denmark, France, Uruguay, and debutant Senegal thrown into a rather tough group there. Over in Group B, we've got Spain, South Africa, Slovenia, and Paraguay. No disrespect to the others, but Spain have got a walk in the park group there. I'd be surprised if they don't top it. As over in Group C, we've got Brazil, Costa Rica, Turkey, and other debutants China. We get to Group D, where finally we've got South Korea, the host, Portugal, Poland, and the US. So a very interesting group there, as Group E sees Germany, Cameroon, Saudi Arabia, and Ireland. Oh, we've got a spicy group up here with Sweden, Argentina, England, and Nigeria. The 3 Lions and the Albiceleste have got a bit of World Cup beef from 1986 with Maradona's Hand of God, so that's always an interesting matchup, with Group G seeing Mexico, Italy, Croatia, and Ecuador all grouped together. As Group H, surely now we've got the co-hosts Belgium, Russia, Japan in the mix, and Tunisia to finish it out. So it's the regular World Cup format that we're all used to. I can't wait to see this one play out. As a fun fact for you, whilst we simulate through, is that Oliver Kahn actually won not only the Golden Glove, the goalkeeper of the tournament, but the player of the tournament in 2002, despite Germany losing out in the final to none other than Brazil. They had the prime R9 Ronaldo up front, who scored 8 goals and was the top goal scorer in the tournament. So there's a bunch of high-profile superstars of the past that we've got to keep our eyes on and track to see if they're going to live up to their legacy, or will their legacy be tarnished by some poor performances. We've seen it happen before in this re-simulation with the likes of Maradona and Zidane. Enough yapping, now let's take a look at these group stage results. Got France coming out on top, undefeated with 7 points. It's kind of funny considering they finished rock bottom in real life. Denmark and Senegal go home eliminated, and this group has been completely flipped and reversed, as Uruguay claim that second qualification spot. Over in Group B, my prophecy came through of Spain topping the group flawless, 3 wins out of 3, and Paraguay make it out, as Slovenia and South Africa are gonna have to say goodbye, as they've both been eliminated by literally goal difference or head to head, so you gotta feel for them. Over in Group C, it's Brazil and Turkey to come out flawless for the Brazilians as they're looking to make a run for the finals. Just like in real life, both Costa Rica and China will be eliminated just like in real life. Over in Group D, we've got the United States topping this one with 3 wins out of 3. Portugal, Poland, and South Korea all ended on 3 points each, but it's the Portuguese to make it out of here with goal difference on their side. Turns out this group in real life was close, but not this close. How tight and contested these groups have been. Not much said here though in Group E, as Germany and Ireland both breezed through to the round of 16. We've got Cameroon and Saudi Arabia waving goodbye. Similar results to real life there, as Group F see Sweden top it, and England grabbing that second qualification spot. Argentina and Nigeria, this group has been completely replicated. It's a mirror image of what happened in real life as Argentina go home. That's a big one. No more Maradona for them. It was the time just before Messi burst onto the scene, so the Albiceleste will be needed to do some soul searching there, as Group G sees Mexico top it, as Ecuador and Croatia are both grouped, and Italy make it out there with 6 points. And last but not least, we've got Group H, which sees might be the shock of the tournament so far. Tunisia on top here with 5 points. Belgium come through in 5th. We've got Russia and Japan missing out. Again, the co-hosts are rock bottom. Both of the hosts actually finished top of their group in real life, so they have underperformed and flopped completely here in this Re-Sim. Now over to the knockout rounds, where we had the round of 16 on the left side of the bracket. We had some entertaining matchups here, with Ireland getting drawn against Spain, which was quite harsh. Portugal made it out against Mexico. Germany eliminated Paraguay, and it was the Italians, mamma mia, missing out and eliminated to USA on pens. The Americans' hype was short-lived, but that would have been a monumental moment for them, as they were knocked out in the quarters 3-0 to Spain. Germany took care of business against Portugal, and then they've kept 3 clean sheets in a row here. 2-0 win versus España to book their spot into yet another World Cup final. They're 6th of the Re-Simulation so far, but let's see what nations have made it out on the right side of the bracket here. We have England versus France, which was one of the bigger matchups in the round of 16, with the 3 Lions making it out. We've got Brazil, who took care of business against Belgium. Sweden dropped the 3-0 masterclass on Uruguay, and Turkey, in the battle of the crescent moon flags, got the job done over Tunisia. Meanwhile, Sweden continued their miracle run, taking down Turkey and then landing themselves in a semi-final with England, as the 3 Lions conquered their penalties curse and took down the major favourites, the real-life winners Brazil, in a penalty shootout after it finished 1-1, and then narrowly got past Sweden to make it out alive and reach yet another World Cup final. The 3 Lions have booked their ticket to the big dance, and they're facing one of their oldest arch enemies. This is just a mouth-watering matchups in more ways than one. Even if it was just a normal game, it would be spicy, but this is a World Cup final we're talking about. But this time the Germans have the one and only Miroslav Klose, only the World Cup top goal scorer on their side, and he's come through with his scoring boots in this competition with 5 goals alongside Raul up top, so he's going to want to claim that golden boot tonight and make a statement. Meanwhile, Capucho, Rivaldo, and Morales are all tied on 4. We've got Robbie Keane, who turns out for the Republic of Ireland with 3 goals, and Zlatan making his first World Cup appearance here in 2002 with 3 goals, launching him in the top 10. We've got some England performers here like Joe Cole and Robbie Fowler. It's interesting to see some familiar names emerging onto the scene, and Miroslav Klose, he's coming for the best player. He's coming for the golden ball, as he's also gotten himself 3 assists. Ricken is in there as well. Totti, Owen, Diego Forlan, Xavi, Denilson, all these names are starting to appear, and oh my days, the stars are aligning for Germany tonight. Oliver Kahn with 5 clean sheets, doing what he does best. But I am going to be fielding their exact starting 11 that they played in 2002, given they were up against different opposition, but I feel like I just want that realistic touch. I know you might be wondering like why you're bringing off an 88 rated Ballack, but he actually wasn't involved, didn't even come off the bench. And I know it looks weird seeing a CDM play at right mid, but okay, again, he can play that position. Don't blame me. This was the exact lineup that they played in 2002. With these 2 German icons, Klose and Kahns, the 2Ks, if they show up tonight, it is going to be trouble for the English, and they've even got some extra firepower off the bench with Bierhoff ready to come on. However, their opposition, the challengers, the Three Lions, are in a bit of a crisis of their own, with their two main defenders, Rio Ferdinand and Campbell, both out injured. How? The same thing happened in the Italia 90 final, where they had 3 of their main starters out for the match, so they're in a bit of hard luck, as it will be their future manager Gareth Southgate to be part of this back 4. Besides their main centre-back pairing, which are going to have to miss out, this is pretty much the exact same layout, 4-4-2, the exact same players and formation that lost out to the eventual champions Brazil in the quarterfinals, with David Beckham wearing the captain's armbands. They've got the likes of Emil Heskey, Michael Owen, the Ballon d'Or winner, leading the line. A bit of class of 92 representation in there. They're going to be up against it tonight. They're underdogs yet again. I feel like these retro kits are going to bring back some nostalgia, so I'm always going to show them before the final. These were some classic garments, especially this England home shirt. Nevertheless, these are how the two sides go up against each other on paper, with it all going down at the International Stadium in Yokohama. An attendance of 69,000 people were packed in to see initially Germany versus Brazil, but in this Re-Simulation, we've got a completely different matchup here, and oh my goodness, it is actually spicy. In the context of this Re-Simulation, I mean, England, they're on the hunt for their 3rd title, meanwhile Germany don't want to lose 6 in a row. I mean, that would just be catastrophic. That would just be the ultimate humiliation. I don't know how they would come back from that, but they'd already won 3 at this stage in real life. They've still got 3 stars on top of the logo in their jersey. There was over 1.1 billion watching at home on television, and the GOAT of referees, Pierluigi Collina, was reffing this match. This was just peak early 2000s nostalgia, as we've got a very interesting broadcast package here. I love the layout, I love the colors, and of course, the match ball, the Federnova. That is the title that they are fighting for. This was the last tournament to use one match ball for the entire competition. There was no like special final match ball for this World Cup, but come on, you can't get better than that. That is a beautiful World Cup football. No Rio, no Sol Campbell for England. So can they do it for them and get their 3rd World Cup, or will Germany finally prevail? This one could go either way. This 2002 broadcast package, man, it had so much character about it. The color, I love the logo in the top left too. It's just such a nice detail, such a nice touch. Southgate remaining cool, calm, and composed under pressure. And England tries to play tiki-taka, tried to move it across quickly, but Germany's high press, they can't contain it, as Neuville again has been most involved tonight. It's found a pocket of space, and at the near post beats out David Seaman, and Germany are on the board. Neuville has been a nuisance so far tonight, and the Germans fans here in Yokohama have something to celebrate about early here, because the number 7 just dwindled his way through, and the fox in the box perfected his angles. It's been all about Miroslav Klose in the build-up, but his strike partner is shown up here tonight, and what a moment for the man. It's his 3rd goal in the tournament so far, so he hasn't been slacking throughout this World Cup, but that's the big game moment. And now England have a mountain to climb here. You can definitely tell their backline has been tampered with. Their 2 main defenders nowhere to be seen, as they immediately trying to get an equalizer back. And Neuville again, he's just been so involved, but he's given the ball away to David Beckham. Now Michael Owen, nice little 1-2, and the number 7 finds Michael Owen again. The future Ballon d'Or winner tries to go for it, but Oliver Kahn, and he wants to protect those 5 clean sheets. He's looking menacing as well whilst he's doing it. Playing it patiently. They don't need to rush anything here, the Germans, but poor Scholes catches Bode out. And now he can give the ball into David Beckham. He's on the run back inside to Scholes. And Mills just finds it out. Emil Heskey. Is it Heskey time as he finds the ball inside to Michael Owen, his strike partner? And the little tall, small duo up top is linking up to perfection. And it's Emil Heskey to set up the equalizer here. Michael Owen's 2nd chance of the night, and you can't give him that much space in the box. Oliver Kahn called out. The whole defense called out. That 3-man backline is shaking in their boots as England responds, and the Federnova slams into the back of the net. England's number 10. He was their prodigal son. He was their hero. And before all the injuries, it's his first goal in this World Cup tournament. As we saw in the goal scoring charts, it's been Fowler to lead the line, but Michael Owen was their go-to man here in 0-2. He actually scored against Brazil in that quarterfinal where they eventually lost out and were eliminated. And we've started him, and boy, oh boy, this is going to be an absolute box office thriller. Armand back inside. Jeremy's fine. Schneider can see Miroslav closer. And closer tries it. David Seaman doesn't want to get caught out at his near post again. A lot of possession, but not really doing much with it. As Schneider goes for the shot, and David Seaman was there again to send it out for a corner. As both sides look lively tonight, it looks like this second 45 is going to be one to remember. Outside to Nicky Butt, and Heskey is found by Michael Owen. Heskey cuts inside, takes on his man, offloads to Paul Scholes, and he just misses the target. United's number 8 there was very close to getting England into the lead. And first substitution of the night here, I think, and it's going to come from Germany. We've got Frings coming off, and he will be replaced by Michael Ballack. Didn't actually make an appearance here in the final, but the manager here in this Re-Simulation has other ideas. Another substitution here, Germany are making the first couple of changes here. Neufville, their goal scorer, will be coming off. He's been the most lively in attack. It will be Nicky Butt coming off for England here. Owen Hargreaves is the man to replace him as Bierhoff comes on off the bench. So back on the inside, Gareth Southgate finds Michael Keown, but he gets caught out. And Frings here can set up Miroslav closer. He's one-on-one with David Seaman. He hits the woodwork. He had the defender closing him down, but that's been his first chance, his first shot. As another change will happen here. Paul Scholes coming off. Some more fresh legs in the middle of the park. With Kieran Dyer coming on, replacing Paul Scholes. I don't know what the England manager is thinking, but in Italianini, they made some questionable substitutions and it turned out well for them. So I'm just going to let them cook. But taking off both Scholes and Nicky Butt for a brand new midfield pairing is quite daring in a all-or-nothing World Cup final. It's Heskey time no more, as Robbie Fowler, England's proper top goal scorer in this Re-Simulation, will take his place. Closer, brilliant header down, but David Beckham wins it back, and we've got a bit of fouls off the ball going on. It's getting a bit tense here, as this potentially could head into extra time, but England might have one final say. Kieran Dyer with the shot, and it's Oliver Kahn who comes to Germany's rescue. Who would have thought? Kieran Dyer with the golden opportunity to win the World Cup in the dying embers. But we will be headed to extra time. That first opening half went off like a house on fire. We could be going the distance here. In a tight situation, but David Beckham into the box now, and he's going to assist it, but Haman makes the crucial block, and that was destined to go on target too. So it's a goal-saving block there. Kieran Dyer again. He's just popping up at the right moments. Germany have that chance to rewrite history, but they've given the ball away. Sinclair inside to Michael Owen, and he's only gotten himself a brace in the 2002 World Cup final. England's golden boy steps up to the plate in 2002. The red shirt England, it's proven to be their lucky charm. Sinclair with a ball to split open the German defense. He found that pocket of space, and on the first time finish, the audacity, the gall to just hit that and hope for Michael Owen off the post and in. Closer hit the post for Germany in the second half. Owen does here, but it results in a goal, and it's his second goal of the tournament. The two most important goals of his life, and in the 101st minute, nudges England into the lead, and could football be coming home again? And this Re-Simulation just proves that anything can happen. Anything is on the table. And with 15 minutes on the clock, trying to send this one, all they can do is try and send it into a penalty shootout. As Michael Ballack, the cross inside, it's Miroslav closer to step up, and the number 11 heads home for Germany. It's the fourth goal of the match, and oh my goodness me, how many more twists and turns are we going to have tonight? It is a beautiful lofted ball in from Ballack, and Miroslav closer absolutely aimed to perfection there. The header from heaven. And he's gifted his nation with a lifeline here in Yokohama. That is vintage Miroslav Klose. He pops up at the right time, gets his 6th goal of the tournament, and that sends him top of the goal scoring charts. He wants his golden boot. He wants to become a world champion early doors here in 2002. They don't want to wait another 12 years for 2014. And now England are shell-shocked. They thought they had it in the bag. The Germans can smell blood. They see their moment. They want to seize the opportunity. Another cross inside. And Ramelow couldn't guide his header on target. It just edges wide. They've written up an instant classic as Robbie Fowler just drags his shot wide. He tried to go for the heroics. And as I mentioned earlier, they got rid of golden goal in this World Cup tournament. So just imagine England might have potentially already had it won with that Michael Owen goal. What is the referee going to do? It's just a yellow card for Bierhoff. But we've seen those kind of tackles be given reds before. Definitely, we've seen that challenge a few too many times in these World Cup finals. Bierhoff's lucky to still be on the pitch. We are headed off to a penalty shootout for the 2nd World Cup final in a row. We need spot kicks to decide it. And wow, this has been an absolute scorcher of a final. 2-2 it finishes. I think the highest scoring re-simulated match we have seen witnessed so far. And I can't bear it. I don't know how the players do it. I don't know how the fans do it. But penalties is just the worst way to decide a major final. And there is the penalty kick selection, the penalty shootout order. Now, I don't want to jinx them, but the Germans have developed an aura. They've developed a reputation around penalty shootouts that they are efficient. They're clear-cut and they're clinical from the spot. As Miroslav Klose, David Seaman shuts him out straight away. And oh my days, David Beckham now with the chance to put England ahead in the shootout, and he does exactly that as it's Schneider up next to try and convert one for Germany. And oh, he goes left, and Seaman was very, very close. Guessed the right way. And now Robbie Fowler came off the bench. England's number 9 tried to go for the Panenka, and you just know when they do that, it is going to end in embarrassment. And now Michael Ballack trying to convert this one, goes right down the middle, and David Seaman's foot comes to the rescue here, and Michael Owen scored a brace in the final. Can the number 10 put it away from the spot? He goes down the middle, no problems there. And now the centre back, Ramelow. He missed a crucial header in extra time, and he's going to miss a crucial penalty there as he overpowers his shot. And is this England's chance to win it? We have got Owen Hargreaves up for it. Is this the moment where England get number 3? How is the midfielder going to do? He smashes that right down the middle, and that might be the quickest penalty shootout decider ever. I thought we were going to be in for a long haul there, but the 3 Lions kept their cool, kept their calm under pressure, and it's Owen Hargreaves, the most unlikely of heroes, to step up and secure England their 3rd crown of the World Cup re-simulation so far. They reign victorious here in 2002, and their golden generation of the late 90s and early 2000s, they pull through with a gutsy high-scoring win that gets them equal 2nd on the winners list so far. They are now tied up with Brazil. I know I've said it so many times so far, but that is now a whopping 6 World Cup finals lost for Germany. Unbelievable stuff, man. It is just another fumbling. Miroslav Klose got them back in a game with a beautiful goal, but it was England to outdo Germany at their own game, in their own ballpark, and it's David Beckham with the blonde mohawk to lift up the World Cup trophy and win England the ultimate prize. It's a famous night in Japan for the English, and they won't be forgetting this one anytime soon. In this alternate timeline, they've only had to wait 12 more years to get their hands on the World Cup title, and they are crowned champions in 2002. So the Germans couldn't rewrite history and get their win in Japan, as it will be new winners for 2002. D-Bex now, I'm sure they're going to build statues for him outside Wembley. They did it against all odds, really. Without their main centre-back pairing of Rio Ferdinand, they subbed off their midfield duo in the game. No matter how many times Germany clawed their way back in, it just wasn't their night. One of the most gripping and entertaining World Cup finals we've witnessed so far. These lot have just set the standard, set the bar for the rest of this mega finale, and there's your confirmation. England are your world champions for the third time. I guess it's a little consolation prize for Miroslav Klose, as he did confirm his golden boot winning status. He also got the golden ball like we predicted, but I'm sure he'd much rather trade those two individual accolades in for a world title. But that's neither here or there, because I'm sure Oliver Kahn would trade in his golden glove title for a World Cup. So again, Germany individually, they've absolutely killed it, but up against the English that just had more team chemistry, had more spirit, determined to win at all costs. They had so many striker options like Emil Heskey, Teddy Sheringham, Robbie Fowler, Michael Owen. They were blessed in attack. Joe Cole didn't even make an appearance in the final. So they just had a very well-balanced team. This England team now have rewritten the scripture and are now engraved in World Cup history. To all my German viewers, yeah, I don't know when it's going to happen, but just look away. This has not been a good re-simulation for you guys. I just, I'm in utter shock. Even I'm surprised. It just gets to a stage where I've run out of words. I just don't even know what to say anymore. We won't be forgetting the Germans anytime soon, because we're skipping ahead 4 years later to 2006. We have 6-time Re-Sim runners-up Germany hosting the World Cup for the second time ever. All the nostalgia is now flooding back to me for this one, because I've even got the standalone dedicated World Cup video game here that we used to have it good. This is when EA were really starting to get into their bag with the World Cup standalone games, and man, we should have got something like this for 2018 and 2022, but that's a story for another day. 2006, we are here with some incredible storylines, some incredible nations qualifying for this one. We actually have a whopping 6 debutants for this one, including Angola, 4.5-star Ghana and the Ivory Coast, Trinidad and Tobago, Togo, and Ukraine, all being the new nations on the block. We've got Serbia and Montenegro. Brazil were the defending champions in 06, but in our re-simulation, it's the English. And this tournament would go on to see my boys Italia win their 4th World Cup crown and defeat the French on penalty shootouts, where Zidane got that famous headbutt. He got sent off in his final ever game, scored a Panenka penalty on Buffon, and then fell for the Materazzi rage bait. It's one of the most famous World Cup moments of all time. Famous, controversial, iconic, it had it all. And even though they've already won it 5 times in this re-simulation, the Azzurri are ahead of schedule here. They were the underdogs. No one saw them coming. I mean, everyone counted them out really, but they still had some iconic names, some world-class players. I mean, the names speak for themselves really. Totti, Pirlo, Buffon in between the sticks, Cannavaro, the only centre-back to this day to win the Ballon d'Or. We've got Zizou's final World Cup. Can they recover from exiting the groups in 2002? And my other home nation of Australia qualifying for the World Cup for the first time since the 70s. Overall, Germany were considered to be one of the best hosts, and they hosted one of the best World Cups ever according to FIFA themselves. And it became one of the most watched television events in history, having an estimated 26.29 billion views over the course of the entire tournament. So let's check in on our old reliable classic 32 team format here in the group stages, where we've got Group A, and it's good to see the hosts in there in first with Ecuador, Costa Rica, and Poland. So the hosts have been helped out here in the group stage draws. We switch over to Group B. We've got the Re-Sim defending champions England taking on Sweden, Trinidad and Tobago, and Paraguay. So you'd expect the 3 lions to make it out of there. Group C sees the Netherlands, Argentina, no more Yugoslavia, Serbia and Montenegro in fact will replace them, with the African representation, the Ivory Coast, to finish that one off. Over in Group D, we've got Portugal, Mexico, Angola and Iran. A lovely little mishmash of different confederations and different nations. Moving over to Group B with Ghana, the United States, Italia and the Czech Republic, all with an open shot there to make it out of the group. That is a really even split, as Group F sees Croatia, Australia, Brazil and Japan in another feisty group. I mean, that one can go either way, as Group G sees the Swiss, South Korea, France and Togo all drawn in with a point to prove. And in Group H, to wrap it up, we've got Saudi Arabia, Spain, Tunisia and Ukraine all fighting it out there. I've never seen a tournament so wide open. Like, everyone has a chance to make it out here. The quality that this 06 World Cup has on display is top notch, and I expect no less from the results. So let's start simulating, because I'm licking my lips. I'm chomping at the bit, because now I actually have some memories and, you know, have a bit of recollection tied to this tournament in specific. I was 6 years old, so I remember bits and pieces, like Italy versus Australia in the round of 16, the battle of my heritages going head to head. It was one of the core memories of my childhood that I'm not going to let go of. Now, the 06 group stages have come to a close, and we have Group A here with Poland topping it out against the host Germany. They still both made it out, but it was Ecuador who qualified in real life out of the group, finishing rock bottom here. Costa Rica pretty much replicating what they did. However, the Germans failing to win the group. However, over in Group B, we've got both Sweden and England making it out on 6 points, and it's either on goal difference or head-to-head that Paraguay are eliminated. All three teams had 6 points. Trinidad and Tobago well and truly bottom, but that would just feel like a dagger to the chest for all the Paraguayans out there. How close can you get? The English escaping into the round of 16 with quite possibly the narrowest of margins, and in Group C, we've seen the Netherlands and the Ivory Coast both with 6 points make it out, and Argentina have been grouped. In Messi's first ever World Cup, they have been dumped out alongside Serbia and Montenegro. In real life, they actually top the group, but in this re-simulation, they have failed to show up to the party, and it's the Orange Elephants stampeding their way into the round of 16, as over in Group D, we've got Ronaldo's first appearance at a World Cup. Meanwhile, his nation was able to top the group as Mexico slid in to be the second qualified team. Both Iran and Angola will be packing their bags as they were eliminated. Group E sees Italia, the defending champions, the real-life defending champions, make it out through top here alongside Ghana. This is a pretty accurate representation of what happened in real life too. The US come through bottom with 1 point, and the Czech Republic just bit the bullet there as Group F sees Brazil and Australia come through. They're into the round of 16 here with, again, mirror image of what happened in real life here. The 2006 Group F saw Japan and Croatia failing and crumbling against the might of the Aussies and the South Americans, as Group G sees France and Togo make it out here, and in real life, Togo finished bottom, so they have overperformed. France in Zidane's last World Cup didn't top the group either, and Switzerland finished top in real life, have ended up third, so they've had a slip. Zidane carrying his nation on his back, and Group H with Spain come through conquering on top. Even though they finished rock bottom in real life, Saudi Arabia have come through with 4 points, which is enough to see them through, and the Ukraine and Tunisia both eliminated, sent home. We had a huge shock elimination early doors with Poland defeating England 1-0 in the round of 16, which was just a crazy outcome. The Dutch got the better over Mexico. Italy, just like in real life, got through against Australia. France defeated the Saudis quite comfortably with a 3-0 win. And the 2006 final played out in the quarterfinals here, with the French getting the better over the Italians, a 2-1 win, which saw them met up against the Dutch in the semi-finals, and they booked their spot on penalties. It's poetic. They lost the final on penalties, and now they see themselves here in the big dance in Berlin via a penalty shootout. Poland's giant killing run was stopped in the quarterfinals, and on the right side of the bracket, we had the hosts just scraped by over Sweden. Portugal got the job done over the Ivory Coast. Brazil took Ghana to the clinic with a 3-0 win, and Spain took down Togo, which set up a mouth-watering fixture between Brazil and Spain, which ended 3-3. The Brazilians made it through on a penalty shootout. Meanwhile, the Germans with a statement-defying win, a 3-1 victory over Ronaldo and Portugal, which saw Germany and Brazil match up, where the South Americans pulled through and got the better of them, which sees France versus Brazil in the 2006 World Cup Re-Simulation final. It's Europe versus South America, the real-life finalists versus the winners of 2002. Here in the top goal scorers list, you can see why Les Bleus have made a devastating run to the final, as Thierry Henry has actually carried his country on his back here with 6 goals, outscoring the real-life top goal scorer Miroslav Klose's 5 goals. Meanwhile, Raul right behind him for Spain with 5, Simão of Portugal with 4, tied with Klose and Babel for the Netherlands. Netherlands. France's attack really shining here in Germany, and on top of the assist charts, we've got a whole bunch of names tied. Patrick Vieira, Ronaldinho, Raul Ribery, and Alessandro Del Piero, all with 3. And Barthez is on a mission in between the sticks as he's looking for that golden glove too. So again, so much is at stake tonight. France are back here again, looking to rewrite history, and this is how they'll be lining up with the 4-2-3-1 formation. This is exactly how they lined up in the final in real life. No injuries, no major suspensions to report on. They're going to be having their full strength starting 11, and all of their players are available for tonight's clash, which is a good sign. We always want to see the best of the best out on the field with that midfield combination of Vieira and Claude Makelele. Fresh, exciting stars like Florent Malouda and the exciting Franck Ribéry, who was forced to play on the right. And these two in attack alone are good enough to win any game of football. Now they get the chance to send off their savior. In Zizou's last game, let's see if they can give him the send-off he deserves. Meanwhile, the Seleção, after failing in 0-2, they're looking for their 4th World Cup title here. They only have one major injury concern to report on, and that is Lucio at the back. He'll be replaced by Luizão, who will be partnering up with Juan. Despite that, this Brazilian squad, this Brazilian generation is nothing to scoff at. This was their final starting 11 in 2006. They operated with a 4-1-2-1-2 midfield diamond formation with Ronaldinho partnering Ronaldo up top, Kaká in right behind them, with Zé Roberto, Gilberto Silva, and Juninho in midfield. We saw their captain Cafu lift up the trophy in our Re-Simulation in USA 94. So let's see if this squad can find that magic again and send him off on a high. This is also a rematch of the 98 World Cup final in France, where the Brazilians were absolutely humiliated at 3-0. So there's a bit of World Cup bad blood between these two. On paper, they're both filled to the brim with some world-class talents. Their world-class stars are going to be kicking around a world-class football, with the Adidas Teamgeist being the main match ball for the 06 World Cup. However, this was the first World Cup final to have a special final match ball, which is just such a W. The Adidas Teamgeist Berlin edition with the World Cup gold painted all over it. Honestly, one of my favorite match balls of all time. It was revolutionary for its time, and it would go on to set the standard for future tournaments. There were 69,000 people in attendance to watch this one play out, and Zinedine Zidane still won the golden ball after the headbutt incident, and that is what they're fighting for. Martin Tyler and Alan Smith in the booth, and the World Cup trophy. It's one coveted prize that only few win, and now we get the chance to see potentially a Zidane redemption. Both of these nations have old retiring veterans that are captaining the country, and they both want to give them the last dance they deserve. As they sing out the national anthem, the team lineups, the graphics package, the further we get along the timeline, the better it gets, and the more memories start flooding back. And it is just a sight to behold. A final at the Olympiastadion, and that French jersey, despite them losing in 06, it is still so clean, so iconic. And Henry will get us underway. The French will start things off, and we have liftoff. William Gallas. Oh, he's made a terrible touch there, the French defender, and now their backline is open with R9 Ronaldo smelling blood, and he just can't get the delivery on the inside. It is Juninho who fouls and trips up. Oh no, it's not a foul, it's play on the referee. I like how he's letting the game flow here, and Brazil are in flow state right now, and it will be a free kick in a very dangerous area here. France have been shaky at the back, and their nerves are showing here. You've got Ronaldo stepping over it in the gold Tiempos, the gold World Cup final match ball. The retro vibes are off the charts right now as the classic camera flashes in the crowd go off from the dead ball situation with that signature run up, and he goes straight at Barthez. Barcelona legend, the French legend, but William Gallas again. He is on a run to try and get his team to lose a World Cup final. Ronaldinho's offside, but that was another huge shock for the French backline. William Gallas needs to be locked up as, oh man, he's given the ball away twice in a dangerous area. He's putting on a fraud display in this final, and Brazil know exactly what they're up against here. They've gained confidence. Find Roberto Carlos, and Ronaldinho now can set up Kaká, and he's through on goal with a beautiful chance, surrounded by the French defenders, but Barthez to the rescue. First substitution of the match, and both sides are making changes here. Emerson on for Brazil. Zé Roberto will be replaced, and Makelele being replaced by Dorazu. Two midfield changes, both managers realizing that this is a chess match unfolding. They just know how to tick it between each other. It's reminding me of Spanish tiki-taka, but they're lacking the final product and that creativity in the final third. But Brazil are keen to get it done in regulation time. Ronaldo with a beautiful little flick inside as France shut it down. They're looking defensively solid as Ronaldinho shut down by Gallas, who's had an improved performance, and now things have opened up as Zidane sets up a young Frank Ribéry on the edge of the area. Has two defenders on him. The ball comes loose. Thierry Henry was there. What a moment, as it looks like Florent Malouda will be saying goodbye tonight. He's going to be replaced by that man, David Trezeguet. Both sides going all out attack mode, and spaces are open. Oh, Thuram, he's pushed up from the back line. He's stolen the ball off Roberto Carlos, and Thierry Henry is in the box. Is he going to pull the trigger or lay it off? It's Dida with a massive save, and the first save of the match. He's denied the top goal scorer of the tournament. It took two hands to save it. Ricocheted off his left onto the right, ricocheted off his chest, and just bounces wide. As he kicks the ball through, we are headed to extra time. It's like the teams just started trying when there was 10 minutes left on the clock, but they weren't bothered all game. And just by looking at the match facts and the statistics, you can tell what kind of game we've had here. Minimal chances, minimal big moments, no controversies yet. Just manages to get the pass away. Juninho. Zidane goes in for a big challenge here, and the referee has a decision to make. It's not quite a headbutt, but it's not quite a red card defense. What will it be? Just a yellow. He didn't get any of the ball there. Zizou is lucky to get away with that one. He just went demon mode there for a second, and Brazil now all of a sudden in a promising position. Luis Yao had a swipe at it, but the defender's shot well over the bar. What's it going to take to unlock the Brazilian defense? Zidane on a yellow card, but it's a nice little 1-2 with him and Ribéry, and it forces Dida into action again. Now they're showing some pride. Now they're fighting for their country, and all of a sudden the stakes have clicked into gear with Zidane now becoming more involved. They're number 10. Is he going to pull them out of this situation? Trezeguet inside to Zidane. He set up Patrick Vieira. Thierry Henry, who's been quiet since his chance, finds Patrick Vieira again. Frank Ribéry offloads to Lilian Thuram, and another defensive panic shot on goal goes way off target. Ronaldinho wins the ball back, and the counter-attack option has just come into fruition here with a nice through ball. Kaká wants to find the cross. It's R9 Ronaldo. Is he offside? The offside flag now gets raised, and he thought he'd put Brazil into the lead, but William Gallas with the high IQ offside trap didn't follow along with R9 Ronaldo. What a ballsy move. Juan pushed up. Oh my goodness, Cafu has just set up R9 Ronaldo, and he squared it, but it's gone in. Oh, what's going on? That is just the most random moment ever. R9 Ronaldo looked destined to hit the trigger, and I haven't touched anything, but we got no replay, no celebrations. Out of nowhere, Ronaldinho. Excuse me? What? Ronaldinho has scored the winning goal in the 120th minute of the 06 World Cup final with his 4th goal of the tournament. Cafu involved in the build-up. I was sure for all love and money that R9 was going to hit the trigger, but he did the unselfish thing, I guess, and in a quite unorthodox way, gave it to Ronaldinho, slid across the floor, hit the post, and goes in with an anticlimactic celebration. Now you get the chance to watch the Seleção win in a deserved victory, I'm going to say. Even though France did fight back there in the last few minutes of the game and in extra time, Brazil played the better football, and that goal was just something special, something magical. I don't even think the game could comprehend it. But Zidane goes home empty-handed again, just like in 2006. He should have been sent off again for his dirty challenge, but now it's Cafu who gets the last laugh. He won it in 94. He gets to lift it again here in Berlin, and 2006 sees Brazil be world champions again. For the 4th time, they're hot on Italy's heels, who are still out in front with 5, but they have shortened the deficit, being successful in this competition for 3 decades in a row now. And my God, they are happy about it. They are going to cherish this night forever. 1986, 94, and now in the 2000s. They've won 3 World Cups after Pele, and they've had a huge resurgence. Their golden generation, they didn't shine too much tonight, but they made sure they didn't want to let this one go down to a penalty shootout. The French have waved their white flag again, and in the matter of 8 years, they've been in 2 big dance finals with Zidane as the captain, and they failed to live up to the task. There's your confirmation, and Brazil humiliate the French in our World Cup Re-Simulation. The player of the competition is announced, and it is Miroslav Klose for the 2nd time in a row. He won it in 2002 despite losing the final. The host lost out in the semis just like they did in real life, but he's won it again. Ronaldo and Ronaldinho linking up in the 120th minute for a bit of magic, and I think Ronaldinho was hard done by not winning the golden ball. How was 7 goal contributions, 4 goals and 3 assists, the winning goal in the final, not get him the player of the tournament award? That is a robbery if I've ever seen one. R9, 2 goals and 3 assists. I mean, what did Miroslav Klose do for Germany? 4 goals and 2, and they didn't even make the final. So just taking a look at your world champions again now 4 times. They are 1 star away from matching what they've done in real life, as Adriano managed 2 goals. There was a lot of goals spread out. Even some defenders got on the score sheet like Roberto Carlos, and it's Cafu to get the fairy tale World Cup send-off. It's another nightmare for Zinedine, as he had a nightmare tournament again. 0 goals, 1 assist. The bold headbutt merchant is on fraud watch right now, because just like Maradona, he hasn't shown up whatsoever. 3 goals and 3 was a breakout campaign for Frank Ribéry. He wins the BCHD Best Young Player Award, as it was actually Podolski to win it for Germany, as he scored 3 goals. He had a pretty decent World Cup campaign, not gonna lie. And this is some dangerous territory they're entering here. Just out of curiosity, I want to see if Messi actually played for Argentina. He did. 3 appearances, 1 assist for the young Lionel with the long hair and the headband in his early days at Barcelona. And CR7, he already kicked off his international career at Euro 2004, but what did he do at this World Cup? No appearances, no goals, no assists. He was just a complete non-factor for Portugal. But we're going to leave the Messi versus Ronaldo debate for now. Let's sign off 2006 and time jump 4 years into the future, into the 2010s, to see what awaits. We're off to the land of vuvuzelas and vibes. We've got the 2010 World Cup in South Africa, the first ever World Cup tournament hosted in Africa. So the tournament was expanding into new continents, new regions, and now we've arrived to a tournament that I actually have fond memories of. Like, I distinctly remember staying up late or getting up early and watching World Cup matches, especially the final, and especially this bad boy, the 2010 South Africa World Cup game, the standalone edition on the Xbox 360. What an absolute masterpiece, man. I know this video is not about these World Cup games, but man, these played a pivotal role in everyone's childhood, or everyone my age's childhood. And I'm gonna say it to this day, it's probably the best football video game EA has ever put out. There was only one debutant nation to qualify, and that was the 4-star outfit Slovakia. New Zealand was the only nation undefeated throughout the entire tournament, despite them not making it out of the group stages. And we also had North Korea returning for their 2nd ever World Cup appearance, which just provided so much drama and so much theatre. The Spanish, fresh off winning Euro 2008, to claim their first World Cup trophy, defeating the Netherlands 1-0 in the final after extra time. And this was Spain's rise to prominence, the start or the middle of their dynasty, really. And I'm sure they're going to be out here in this Re-Simulation on a mission with one of the best squads assembled of all time. They were unstoppable. They didn't let teams have a touch. They had a prime Xavi, prime Iniesta. This was just a record-breaking, history-defining side. Even though the Dutch had Van Persie, Schneider, and Iron Robben, there was not much they could do about it. And yeah, of course, course, this was the start of the Champions Curse, where both Italy and France failed to make it out of the group. England were dumped out by Germany after a lackluster group stage with that round of 16 Lampard ghost goal. There was so much controversy, no goal line technology in this tournament. France were sent packing. They had a fallout with the manager. It was a civil war in the French dressing room, and Anelka left the camp. I remember there was so much drama, so much controversy surrounding this World Cup, some for good reason, because later it came out years later that South Africa bribed their way to hosting the tournament, and originally Morocco won the bidding process. And this is how the group stages shaped up here with the hosts, South Africa. They were drawn in with the 06 finalists, France, also Mexico and Uruguay, so they were given quite a tough group. Group B sees Nigeria, South Korea, Greece, and Argentina, hoping not to be grouped for 3 tournaments in a row. Over in Group C, we've got Slovenia, England, Algeria, and the United States. Over in Group D, its previous host Germany tied in with Serbia, Australia, and Ghana, who made a miracle run to the quarterfinals, which was the record at the time for an African nation, only to be outdone by the Luis Suarez's handball goal line clearance. Anyway, in Group E, we've got Cameroon, the Netherlands, Japan, and Denmark. Group F sees the debutant Slovakia drawn in with defending champions Italy, New Zealand, and Paraguay. I remember Paraguay having a memorable run at the time, and Group G sees North Korea, the Ivory Coast, Brazil, and Portugal, with our Re-Simulation defending champions Brazil having a face-off against a CR7-led Portugal. North Korea didn't really have much of a chance, as Group H finally wrapping it up here with the eventual champions Spain, Chile, Honduras, and Switzerland, which was the only team to beat Spain in this 2010 World Cup, which is crazy to think about. So yeah, this World Cup was jam-packed with so many iconic things to remember it by: the Vuvuzelas, Paul the Octopus, on-field and off-field controversies, historical runs, underdog stories, and I can't wait to see it all unfold in this Re-Simulation. I'm hyped for this one. Now, you can't talk about the 2010 World Cup in South Africa without bringing up one of the most controversial footballs of all time. It was the Ras Jabulani, which was revolutionary and controversial all at the same time. The design slapped. It was a beautiful looking aesthetic. However, the ball was basically made in a way where it would move like rapidly and change direction at random in air, and it was hard for the players to predict. A lot of players complained about it. Some mastered the art of the Jabulani, like Diego Forlan. When I tell you, I was obsessed with this ball as a kid. Like, I wanted to touch it, I wanted to feel it. It had all these nice little grooves and bumps and textures over it. It was the talk of the town, and everyone wanted to get their hands on it, especially the final edition that had the beautiful World Cup gold we saw in 06. It was an absolute stunner. Now, with the curtains closing on the group stages, let's take a look and see how each group fared here. We've got Spain and Uruguay both finishing on 7 points in Group A. However, it was the French to take top as the host South Africa go out with a whimper. Only 1 point for them and Mexico, who made it out in real life. And Group B sees Nigeria and Argentina get grouped again. Are you kidding me? With Diego Maradona as the manager. What are we witnessing? The Albiceleste with an all-time capitulation in this decade. 2002, 06, and 2010, they have not seen the knockout rounds of the World Cup. Meanwhile, Greece and South Korea have completed an underdog story here, both advancing through. The Greeks finish on top and have flipped the script. Here in this format, 4 points, it might not be enough. It's never a guarantee. In Group C, we've got England finishing top undefeated. Meanwhile, the US come out through in second. However, in real life, it was the US to top the group. Meanwhile, Slovenia and Algeria both go home. Germany now on top of the group, coming through with 6 points. Australia make it out, and Ghana, who had a legendary run to the quarterfinals. The Africans see themselves out rock bottom and also grouped alongside Serbia. Meanwhile, the real life finalists, the Netherlands, finished top with 5. An African nation making it out this time with Cameroon on goal difference or head to head, claim second spot over Japan, as it was Denmark to finish rock bottom with 3 points. That's been one of the tightest groups so far. Group F sees Paraguay on top. Italy, the champions curse continues here. They're rock bottom, and my Italia, again, just like in real life, have completely capitulated. New Zealand finished with 3 points again, just like they did in real life, but they lost 2 games this time around, and it's both Paraguay and Slovakia to prevail. Again, history repeats itself. However, our Re-Simulation World Cup champions Brazil made it through their group. They didn't finish top though. It was CR7's Portugal with 6 points, and Ivory Coast and North Korea both go home on 3. And Group H sees Spain win it and Chile come through second, as Honduras and Switzerland wave goodbye to South Africa. Hopping in to the knockout rounds now, where in the round of 16, we saw France take down Korea 2-0. England absolutely pumped Australia 5-1 in the Ashes derby. Germany absolutely humiliated the US 4-1, and Uruguay ended Greece's miraculous run 2-0, as the quarterfinals saw France take down England in what would have been a exciting affair. Meanwhile, Germany took care of Diego Forlan's Uruguay, booked their semi-final spot with France, where it was penalty shootouts to let down the Germans again. That's usually their area of expertise, but it was a 5-4 loss on pens after it finished 2-2. They have overperformed massively here in this Re-Simulation. Over on the right side of the bracket here, we had another complete mismatch, as the debutant Slovakia absolutely embarrassed by the Netherlands 5-1. Portugal took care of business 3-0 against Chile. Meanwhile, it was a professional display from Cameroon, who looks like they were the African nation to make history and reach the quarterfinals to set that record, but they did meet Spain, who were fresh off a statement win versus Brazil. They got the better of them 2-1, and here in the semi-finals, the Dutch matched up against their final opponents in real life, Spain, and they took care of business on pens after it finished 2-2. It was the exact same result in both semi-finals, which is, you know, kind of a coincidence, kind of strange, and that has set up the World Cup finalists, who are here for redemption, here to rewrite history, up against the finalists in 06. They've come from nowhere to reach this World Cup final. They qualified controversially against Ireland with the Thierry Henry handball goal. They've overcome that team turmoil, and they've banded together in this Re-Simulation with one major injury concern, with Toulalan at CDM. He'll sit out and be replaced by Diarra. But other than Frank Ribéry and the captain Patrice Evra, this is a bang average France team. This might be one of the worst teams on paper overall wise to reach a World Cup final so far for us in this Re-Simulation. As we take a look at the bench, I mean, they do have Thierry Henry, 91 overall. Anelka was actually sent home in real life. I'm giving them pretty much the exact same starting lineup that they started the tournament with one of their main starters missing out, but I've created things as accurate as possible as well with the substitutions. They had the likes of Malouda, Djibril Cissé, Henry, Valbuena to come off the bench. Meanwhile, for the Netherlands, they were worthy finalists. They had the golden generation. However, this Re-Simulation sees them lose a starter as well, and that's none other than Wesley Sneijder. Some will say he was robbed of the Ballon d'Or in 2010. If he'd won the World Cup for his nation, he'd probably have won it comfortably, but he'll be replaced. Luckily, they have a world-class replacement in Rafael van der Vaart. The streets will never forget, as it's Robin van Persie leading the line. Iron Robin, of course, the main threat. Meanwhile, it's Van Bommel and Nigel de Jong, the brutal midfield partnership that were getting yellow cards for fun in South Africa. And minus Sneijder, this is exactly how they lined up in the 2010 World Cup final, with Van Bronckhorst, the captain. He scored an absolute screamer, goal of the tournament for me, against Uruguay in the knockout rounds. They've got a brute of a midfield, but going forward, they look creatively strong. We've got the miracle run for the French, who have returned in their back-to-back World Cup final appearance, and real-life finalists, the Netherlands, looking for a second chance, looking for their moment to right the wrongs of that night in Johannesburg. And here's how the two teams stack up against each other on paper. Look at the view of this colossal stadium from the bird's eye view. It looks like a football cathedral. For the life of me, I just can't pick a winner here. Both sides have their strengths and weaknesses. Both nations have their storylines intact, and they're after that main prize, world domination again. The Dutch haven't won one since the 70s, and this new golden generation is hungry, itching for that redemption. There was the road to the final in that beautiful 2010 South Africa. Those colors, the broadcast package, it's all coming back to me now. And the stadium is packed to the brim. 84,490 people were here to witness the final. It was another classic nighttime final, and it just set the vibes perfectly. The vuvuzelas were blasting in the background. Leoranje looking to do their nation proud, and I'm sure both sides have hyped up each other by listening to Waka Waka and waving flag in the dressing room. How the French have gotten here, I don't think even they know. But oh, that beautiful golden Jabulani ball will tell us all we need to know tonight. We had Howard Webb actually officiate this match in real life. As Les Bleus will get us underway, a tournament enthralled in controversy, in drama, in storylines, on and off the pitch. But let's see if the football is going to do the talking here, as our first chance on goal, Bakary Sagna, is headed a shot quite ambitiously. And just love the World Cup branding, the colors, the vibrancy of this tournament. It was extremely distinct and will definitely live long in the memory, that's for sure. As France now looking to put in a better performance than they did in 2006. It won't take much doing. The bar is in hell for the French, but they don't want to lose 3 World Cup finals in a row. They want to get on the board. The Netherlands want to get their second. And it's going to be a fierce contest tonight. Doing a good job so far as Leoranje continue to burrow forward. Dirk Kuyt, their number 7. Is he going to find a man? He's going to offload to Van der Vaart. Dirk Kuyt spreads it out wide. It is Van der Wiel. Finds Van der Vaart again, and this French backline is proving to be impenetrable. Gallas finds Diarra, and he's surrounded by 3 orange shirts. He still gets the ball away, and Diaby gets taken down. And that's what I mean when I said he's injury prone. 1 tackle. The bloke's made out of glass. Van Bommel retains possession. Nigel de Jong. No spear kicks to Xabi Alonso's chest this time, and the first shot on target. Dirk Kuyt into Van Persie. The ball over the top. It's a nice one to Van der Vaart. Back into Van Persie. Robin with a lovely delivery. Dirk Kuyt's header. We're going to head into the break. All square. It's a stalemate here. And just like the final with Spain, chances are far and few between. First substitution of the match, and it looks like Nigel de Jong's off. He's been replaced after 45 minutes. I love the World Cup logo this year, the World Cup patch. I didn't think he had much of a stinker, but it's actually for an injury concern. So he's picked up a knock, and he's replaced by Deziu in midfield. Another substitution, Van Persie hooked. And it is a Huntelaar to come on to replace him only in the 53rd minute. The manager has seen enough, and that is a huge call. As Diarra inside to Franck Ribéry. He's going to find the cross. No, offloads back to Diarra. And Diaby sets up Govu, but it's a shot off target. They've used all 3 subs already. Well, this is just trigger happy. Dirk Kuyt coming off, and now it is Ryan Babel to replace him. This is insanity. Either the Dutch manager wants to end it in 90 minutes, or he is just a downright lunatic because he's used all 3 subs before the 60th minute mark. This is quite concerning, or it could be a masterstroke. I don't know. First change for the French. I think Anelka's time's up here. He has not impressed whatsoever, and now their main talisman, the main man, the goal-getter, Thierry Henry, who scored the goal to qualify them for the 2010 World Cup. Top goal scorer in 06 finds Diarra, and it's a poor first touch to let him down, and this Dutch counter-attack could be critical as Arjen Robben one-on-one with Hugo Lloris. And just like in 2010, he was one-on-one with Casillas. He fumbled his lines there, and this time it's the first time they've brought Hugo Lloris into action, and he denies Arjen Robben of his World Cup final goal. Out wide to Patrice Evra. Again to Gorkov, but they've lost the ball. And another Dutch counter-attack could be on here. De Zilu finds Rafael van der Vaart in the number 23. He's going to look to offload. He doesn't pull the trigger. Ryan Babel off the bench sets up. Huntelaar, class young Huntelaar, is the man to break the deadlock. It's the Netherlands with another counter-attack special. Ryan Babel did the unselfish thing and set up Mr. Huntelaar on a silver platter. He threaded the needle through 2 players, and he rifles that one home into the top left-hand corner. It's an inspired substitution from the bench, and the number 21 with his first goal of the tournament strikes in the 73rd minute to get the Dutch into the lead, and Les Bleus staring down the barrel of 3 World Cup final losses in a row. It was the super subs to combine for the goal, was the man to make the difference. But France now In attack, Govu with the delivery inside. The Netherlands defense can't contain themselves, and it's a lucky deflection. Managed to find a way back as Dazou. It's the ball. Abidal push forward in the one-time shot. Now France's moment to have their super sub. It's Florent Malouda to replace Gorkov in the middle of the park. So let's see if this one works out for them. Final change for France. The most involved man on the pitch. Most touches, most passes for the small magician Valbuena. Classic time wasting from the Dutch here. They are holding on at all costs. And they know France are breathing down their necks. And Robin, inside to Huntelaar, Babel. Now the Dutch, are they going to bury it with a second, or will they just continue to waste time? And that's exactly what Klaas-Jan Huntelaar did. He took his moment by the scruff of the neck, and he wasn't going to let anyone take that from him. To let the French down easy in Joburg, it's the Netherlands who rewrite history here and win the 2010 World Cup. They're champions again 32 years later, and unlike in real life, they've won a fat 0 World Cup titles. In this Re-Simulation, Les Orange have gotten their hands on the trophy twice. We thought they fumbled it. We thought Robin spurred their classic moment, but it is Van Bronckhorst to lift up the trophy. No Spain, no worries. The trophy lift for the Dutch. It's something that is only possible in video game format. France failed to get on the board again at the third time of asking, and they are turning out to be Germany at this rate. It goes to Holland, and the orange party is just about to start. And they didn't leave it to the 120th minute. We didn't need extra time here as the fireworks are popping off. They did it for Dirk Kuyt. They did it for Wesley Schneider, who missed out on the final. And they did it for the 2010 team, who lost a real-life final 1-0. They've won this Re-Sim 1-0 and have made sure to get their crowning moment here in 2010 as the champions. I've just realized I haven't even looked at the top goal scorers, the best players, nothing. So we've got so many numbers to crunch. There's your confirmation. 2 World Cups under their belt in completely different eras and completely different time periods. And now the top goal scorer award. Oh my days. Look at this top 3. Fernando Torres and Wayne Rooney tied on 7. And the one and only Cristiano Ronaldo with 6 goals. You can't get a more iconic top goal scorers list than that. Oh my days. We've got a shared golden boot, and we've also got Van Bommel, who mastered up 5 goals to lead the Netherlands to the final. From what I remember, Van Bommel wasn't really the goal scoring type. He was just the hard man in midfield. He's gotten himself a 3rd place spot in the top goal scorers charts. We've had the likes of Kaká, Ribéry, Cruz, and Iniesta all make it in the top 10. The record holder closer with 3 goals. The player of the tournament, he can't win it 3 years in a row. It's going to be Cristiano Ronaldo to win the player of the tournament in 2010. Messi, nowhere to be seen. And unlike in real life, actually performed in South Africa. There was so much expectation held on him in this one. A 98 overall. He had a Maradona-esque campaign, just not really doing anything. At least in 06, he got an assist, but that is just diabolical. I know their team was a bit of a mess and a basket case, but over in the assist charts, we had Ryan Babel with that assist in the final. That got him pushed up to the top of the assist chart, so 4 for him in total. And the French with their 3rd World Cup campaign without Zizou. Franck Ribéry showed up again, this time with 4 goals. He had another great World Cup outing. He lives for this, as it's Sydney Govou, who was their top goal scorer. 4 goals, 2 assists, 6 goal contributions, and Thierry Henry with 2 goals and 2 assists in off the bench. But the champions, the Netherlands, they have this man, Mark Van Bommel, to thank. I mean, 5 goals for him is just unheard of. And I'm surprised he only got 1 yellow card all tournament. Ryan Babel got more yellow cards than him. 3 goals and 4 assists for the man in off the bench. The World Cup streets will never forget Diego Forlan, the magician with the Jabulani at his feet. He completely blanked, as it was the likes of Edison Cavani and Luis Suarez to really pop off and form that striker partnership for Uruguay. David Villa was also one of the top goal scorers in real life with 5 goals, but 1 goal in 1 appearance was all he could muster up for the Spanish in his World Cup outing. And the best young player award this time was awarded to another German by the name of Thomas Müller, who played in every single match, 7 appearances, and he got 2 assists. 2010 South Africa, it's been real, but we move. All of a sudden now we're going to part ways with South Africa, and I'm feeling like booking tickets to the beaches of Rio de Janeiro. Oh, 2014, the Brazil World Cup, you have my heart as the South Americans return to host the tournament for the second time ever. And little did we know that we were in for a treat in real life and in video game format, of course. This bad boy being the last ever standalone World Cup game with the full qualifying, every single national team. It was a football gamer's dream. You know the deal. 32 nations qualified from 5 different confederations, and we only had one debutant, which was Bosnia and Herzegovina, as the hosts bowed out in the semi-finals 7-1 in one of the most humiliating World Cup matches of all time. It was the Germans to secure their 4th world title at the time, with that Mario Götze winning goal in extra time to defeat Messi's Argentina. Neymar announced himself as the poster boy of Brazil. James Rodriguez had a breakout campaign, goal of the tournament. Italy didn't make it out of the group stage again, and the champions curse. Spain was the nation to continue the curse here in 2014. So let's have a look and revisit these group stages here, as we have got the hosts in Group A alongside Mexico, Croatia, and Cameroon. In Group B, it was Australia put in the group of death, where you had Chile right before they won 2 Copa Americas in a row, the previous World Cup champion Spain, and 2010 World Cup finalist Netherlands. So the Aussies were doomed to fail here. Over in Group C, it was the Ivory Coast, Greece, Japan, and Colombia, arguably one of the most entertaining and unpredictable groups in the entire World Cup. In Group D, we had England, Costa Rica, Italy, and Uruguay all matched up against each other. I have fond memories of England versus Italy. It was a great match. I remember watching that and Mario Balotelli's winning goal, but enough nostalgia bait from me. France, Ecuador, Honduras, and Switzerland made up Group E, and Group F was a little bit of a hodgepodge, with debutants Bosnia picked up alongside Iran, Nigeria, and Argentina. How far can Messi take his troops in the bang average Argentinian squad of Group G sees Ronaldo's Portugal, you've got the US, Germany, who eventually became champions, and Ghana. And finally, Belgium's golden generation got their first turnout here in Group H, as this was their first appearance at a World Cup in decades. They were paired alongside South Korea, Algeria, and Russia. Let's see which players are going to make their mark on the world stage again, as these teams, the players, the squads, the everything just bring back so many memories. Of course, everyone should be recognizing players, at least one from every single team at this point. You had Costa Rica making it out of the group with Joel Campbell up front, Brian Ruiz. They went on a little miracle run to the quarterfinals. England completely flopping, being grouped. Can one of these two nations break their finals losing streak? This Re-Simulation has been absolutely brutal for them. There were just so many fun teams with a different mix of eras, different types of players interwoven together. There were just so many nations that punched above their weight, had some breakout players, played with that national team pride, and were a real unit in Brazil. We're talking about bang average sides. Ronaldo's Portugal at this time, like compared to what he has now. I mean, he was in the trenches with this 2014 Portugal squad. There was not much quality around the park. And then, of course, Spain, everyone thought they were going to win it again. They were just fresh off Euro 2012. So plenty of teams with a point to prove, with redemption arcs on the line. I'm sure we'll get to see them alongside many other familiar names ball out here in Brazil. So let's see what the favelas deliver. The results for the Re-Simulated group stages are in, and here in Group A, we've got the hosts finishing on top with 9 points. Undefeated, just like in real life, but qualifying alongside them is Croatia this time with 6 points, as both Mexico and Cameroon bow out. There'll be no round of 16 curse for the Mexicans this year, as over in Group B, the 2 European giants, the 2010 runners-up Spain and the Netherlands, making it out alive, as both Chile and Australia fall victim. The Dutch are in hot pursuit to go back-to-back, and the Spanish just want to get their hands on their first, as over in Group C, we have got a huge shock here, as the Ivory Coast have finished top alongside Japan qualifying, both with 7 points. James Rodriguez's Colombia, the boy wonder, doesn't get to shine, and it looks like he's at a bad turn of events alongside Greece, who's finished rock bottom. But who's going to be the breakout star, the player of the tournament now, as Group D sees England, finish top, 3 wins out of 3, and Italy just sneak in on goal difference or head-to-head. The Italians don't get grouped this time around, as it was Costa Rica who are the unlikely group toppers in real life. Uruguay also made it out alongside them, so we've seen a complete flip there in the script. Group D gets put on its head as we transition to Group E, as Switzerland are the undefeated ones with 7 points. France qualify for the next round as we have to say goodbye to Honduras and Ecuador, who is the second nation so far to finish with 0 points. And in Group F, it was Argentina. Prime Lionel Messi leading the charge just like he did in real life, as it was Iran to have a major turnout for them, qualifying for the round of 16, which would be huge, as it was the debutants Bosnia and Herzegovina to bow out, and Nigeria rock bottom with a point. Germany are still doing some soul searching, as they have failed on every occasion in this resim. The real life champions having no problems here, as it was Ghana to progress through over Portugal and the US. Portugal were grouped on goal difference in real life. This was just even more humiliating, but Ghana came from rock bottom to second. The Africans following up on their fairy tale 2010 run, and Group H finally, we see Belgium undefeated out of the groups with 7 points, and Russia, who failed to qualify in real life, as it was actually Algeria who grabbed that second spot, and South Korea unable to make it through. So there is how the group stage is wrapped up, and that set up an epic knockout stage. We've got the full bracket here. I'm going to take a look at the left side, where instantly I see Spain asserting their dominance here with a 4-0 thumping of Croatia. Unbelievable stuff. England with a statement win over Japan 4-1. The hosts Brazil also showed up with a 3-1 demolition job of the Dutch, which ends their resim dreams of going back to back. And then we had Italy take down Ireland, and it took a penalty shootout after it finished 5-4, progressed into the next rounds, and left the hosts shocked. They were the party poopers and eliminated the Brazilians 2-1 to find themselves in a semi-final with Spain, who got the better of England 2-1 and then did the exact same to Italy in the Euro 2012 final rematch. The tiki-taka merchants, just like France in 2010, have gone from a group stage exit in real life to reaching the final here in this resim. We all knew they were coming. Spain's golden generation were going to strike sooner rather than later. Now on the right side of the bracket, we had Messi's Argentina with a 2-1 win over France. The finalists in our 2010 resim bow out in the round of 16. We have Belgium's golden generation's first stint at a major tournament, and they lived up to the hype with a 3-1 win over Ghana. The Swiss fancied their chances against Iran, and they've done so in fine fashion with a 3-1 win. And then Germany took out Russia 2-0. And in the quarterfinals, we had an exact rematch of what happened in 2014, Argentina versus Belgium, but this time Belgium got their revenge with a clutch 2-1 victory over the South Americans, which saw them meet the Swiss, who have had an insane run to the semi-finals. The two dark horses on the right side of the bracket matched up in the semi-finals, where it was Belgium to book their spot in the big dance, which sees them match up against the Spanish here in the 2014 Re-Simulation final. We've got an all-European affair blockbuster about to go down. It's going to be a scintillating matchup, but first off, I want to cover the third place winners, because I've now realized I didn't take a look at any of the third place results in 2002, 06, and 2010. So I apologize, as here we see Italia come through and absolutely demolish Switzerland after their highs of reach in the semis, a 4-0 win to take the bronze medal. Now, we all know Spain was an almighty powerhouse. They were a dominant force in the international game, winning back-to-back Euros, the 2010 World Cup, and were expected to win their 4th major trophy in a row. Now they have the chance to right the wrongs of Brazil 2014, and the only major concern they have is Cesar Azpilicueta, who will miss out tonight because he's injured. Oh, and also Juanfran, their backup right back, who's suspended. So we're going to have to shift out prime Sergio Ramos and let Raul Albiol fill in at centre back. Him and Piqué will be the centre back pairing. It was in midfield where this team really shined. The Spanish tiki-taka was just untouchable. And to add insult to injury, you had Diego Costa, who freshly changed his international allegiance from Brazil to Spain. So they just added an extra element to the equation, but I'm going to give them their exact starting lineup that they had in their first World Cup game of the tournament, which was against the Netherlands. It was the famous 5-1 loss, but this is a more accurate depiction. This was what they thought was going to be their strongest starting 11 for the World Cup. Now, on the other hand, the Belgians were also gifted with a golden generation of their own. Given it was still in their infancy, they hadn't all reached their primes yet like the Spanish squad, but they had some raw, unique, creative talent up front, some special generational players, and the only starter they have to do without tonight is going to be Toby Alderweireld at right back. Otherwise, you've got the captain, Vincent Kompany, leading from the back. You've got a international starter still to this day, Thibaut Courtois, the rock-solid Afro midfield duo of Axel Witsel and Marouane Fellaini, and these three are the stars, Eden Hazard, Lukaku, De Bruyne. So let's see if they've got it in them to take down such a powerful threat, as they've got the super sub Divock Origi off the bench, a young Adnan Januzaj in the reserves, but the likes of Dries Mertens, Moussa Dembele, such a well-balanced team, so exciting to watch at the time, but they have got a monster task on their hands. And the top goal scorer charts, the player stats, paint an interesting picture here, because we've gone on about how Diego Costa, that was the big story for Spain. He changed allegiances and he was their go-to striker, but in this Re-Simulation, it's Fernando Torres, aging like a fine wine with 6 goals alongside David Silva, joint top goal scorers up top. They'll be both fighting out for the golden boot in the final, as it's Italia's Andrea Pirlo, the wine connoisseur himself, with 5 from Regista, as Lucas Podolski, Messi, and Lukaku. He's still in the race here with 5 goals apiece. Rooney also in the top 10 with 3 goals for England, as we've got the likes of Neymar, Immobile, Van Persie, Gerrard, Drogba, Nani, Kompany even with 2 goals from centre back. It is just a crazy list. Look at these names, man. In terms of assists, we've got Aguero with 4. He's leading the way indefinitely. Fernando Torres also gotten himself 2. And Iker Casillas could share a golden glove alongside Manuel Neuer and Julio Cesar if he is to keep a clean sheet tonight. Ah, brother, it's all hitting me at once. Who remembers these kits? Honestly, it feels like it was yesterday. You got Spain with the World Cup champions badge, the patch on their jersey. Meanwhile, Belgium had some underrated kits of their own, as they'll be kicking about the match ball. We're moving on from the Jabulani and transitioning over to the Adidas Brazuca, with quite possibly one of the best names for a football of all time. And the design was colorful, it was zesty, it fit the vibes, the samba vibes of Brazil. Adidas knocked it out of the park again, I can't lie. And the World Cup final ball, it was peak. It's got the World Cup gold in there, the green of Brazil, the vibrancy. And Adidas were really in their bag here in the early 2010s. Now, if you remember the match and watching the final in real life, you'll recall that the game kind of had a twilight fixture about it. It was held in the evening or late afternoon. And by the time the winning goal was scored, by the time we'd reached the latter stages of the match, it was definitely nighttime and turned into a night final, I guess. And that's kind of my favorite type of big game final. I love seeing the transition from the afternoon to the evening. And as the players roll out now, here are the ones to watch. We've got David Silva, 3 goals in the last 3 matches, on the hunt for the golden boot. Meanwhile, Eden Hazard clutched up in the semi-finals with 2 goals to book his country a spot in the big dance. And I love this little clash of the generations, clash of the decades type battle. We've got this Spain squad, which is kind of the best elite players from this generation, the early to mid 2000s, now reaching their final swan song. Meanwhile, with Belgium, they're also looking for their first World Cup. I can guarantee we'll have a new World Cup winner on the Re-Simulation list tonight, but this is kind of the new gen, the early 2010s talents, so they're going head to head to find out who will get their first World Cup victory. Spain don't want to wait another 4 years. They've already waited 4 years too long, so they'll get us kicked off here, live from Rio. The 2014 World Cup finale is underway. And look at the broadcast package, the Brazilian touch, the Brazilian flair on this display. I just love it. You got the flags of the countries actually in the scoreboard. You've got the FIFA TV logo in the top right, as Belgium already starting strong here with Romelu Lukaku. Passes off to Vermaelen, who's already pushed forward. He's Trying to find a cross on the inside, and Kevin De Bruyne with the dream start inside 5 minutes gives his nation the lead. And the Belgians are hungry for some chocolates tonight. It was a pinpoint delivery, and the header was even better from KDB. It was Thomas Vermaelen to hit the bazooka sweet as a nut. And the ginger magician leaped above Raul Albiol, filling in for Azpilicueta tonight. It's his third goal in the 2014 World Cup. And he has just set the stage here. They are wasting no time tonight. That is now the fastest goal on record we've seen in a World Cup final in this Re-Simulation series. And it looks like Spain want to get their get back straight away. The way this is starting, we're in for a goal fest. I've never seen a team start playing a final so confidently all of a sudden. And Spain are shell-shocked. No way. No way. Are you kidding me? Belgium was the post away from getting their second, and Romelu Lukaku spurns a golden opportunity one-on-one with Casillas, and he has found the woodwork. Spain get away with going 2 goals down in the first 15 minutes. That would have been a catastrophe. Busquets offloads Sergio Ramos, finds Xavi, and Diego Costa just has a pot shot, but it goes well wide. We've got Iniesta, finds Xavi, a nice little back heel between the two La Masia graduates. The two Barcelona boys have found David Silva for his 7th goal in the World Cup, but he's offside. And they thought they had the equaliser there, Spain. It was pretty much a carbon copy of Belgium's goal, just a deep delivery cross, and Jan Vertonghen just plays the offside trap to perfection. And just look at this view of the stadium from above, man. It is just absolutely gorgeous. The outside environment, they've pretty much created it to a T. They've got the surrounding area on point, man. The Maracanã has never looked better. Bound across inside to Diego Costa. The Belgian defense deal with it, and they are just loving playing this counter-attacking role as Merdalash finds Lukaku on the right-hand flank. He cuts back in on the inside, and he looks like he's going to do it himself, the big boy. Casillas has to deny him on his weak foot. Tested the Spanish shot stopper to his almighty lengths, and the bazooka nearly bazookaed into the top corner. Oh, nice ball. He finds Lukaku unmarked, and he holds it up beautifully inside to Fellaini. And I gotta say, they know how to work the final third as Belgium go into the break 1-0 to the good. Spain with a lot more questions rather than answers. I love seeing Christ the Redeemer in the background. It's just such a nice touch. The Brazilian mountaintops, it just adds to the atmosphere. The vibes were unmatched, bro. And in here tonight, the official attendance was 74,738. We've still got a second 45 to go. The finals living up to the hype for me. Lukaku's just taken out PK, and all of a sudden things are getting spicy here. The Belgian is booked, and now the number 9's got to be careful. I don't know what De Bruyne's arguing about, but that was just reckless. First substitution of the match. It looks like Spain have made a change here. Xavi Martinez coming on. And we've got the confirmation. It was actually PK who's gone down injured from that tackle. Romelu, you've got blood on your hands, mate. He's out here on a mission trying to hurt someone. Now the rest of the squad have to rise to the occasion here. Iniesta finds Xavi, who goes for the shots, and he was only whiskers wide of hitting the target. Substitution now change for Belgium. We've got Dries Mertens replacing Kevin Maralas, who I thought was having a decent game so far. Belgium now giving Spain a taste of their own medicine, just keeping hold of possession. The classic tiki-taka game style. They're in no rush to get a second into his Afro duo partner, Fellaini. Had Eden Hazard in the clear, but he opts for Vermaelen. And Kevin De Bruyne with it. Oh my days. First time shot spinning away from goal. And the no-look shot was almost the second blow. Axel Witsel coming off. It is Moussa Dembele, one of the most consistent, powerful and pacey midfielders of the 2010s. An underrated gem. Going to be the third and final change for Belgium here. You've got Defour, another midfielder, so a brand new midfield pairing. One of Spain's top goal scorers, David Silva, off for Cesc Fabregas on the right wing. España need answers here in the dying embers, the last 10 minutes of the match. A very eager Spain as Xavi Martinez, a beautiful ball into the box, chipped up to Xabi Alonso, and it's probably the last player you want hitting the ball first time on the volley as he completely miscues it. Diego Costa's off. He's dropped a stinker. And their second top goal scorer with 6 goals, Fernando Torres, is on off the bench. Maybe if that chance landed in the path of Fernando, he would have dealt with it. Now the Liverpool legend on to find his nation an equalizer here. And Fernando Torres on the ball. He's already causing some problems. And Courtois had to claim the low cross. But can Belgium do some damage here with Eden Hazard? He's just going to use his pace. He outpaces Sergio Ramos, but can't out-strengthen him, and that battle has been so fun to watch unfold tonight. Hazard back on the inside. He has found so much joy in the left flank. Nearly finds Lukaku with the header, but it's Casillas to punch it away. And now Spain with one of the final chances of the match. It's now or never. It's a Belgian lockdown at the back. But if anyone, it's Spain. Find the killer pass, and Iniesta was intercepted by Vertonghen. A really tense moment here. No time for flicks and tricks as Fernando Torres on the right wing. A ball on the inside, and Xavi Martinez can't out-jump Courtois, and the Belgians have found a way. The Red Devils have taken down España, and right here in Brazil, a European nation has prevailed, and for the first time ever in the history of World Cup football, Belgium are the champions of the world, and they have done it with the youngest ever golden generation. This was a team that's pretty much stayed together for the next few major tournaments. They are ahead of schedule in this World Cup Re-Simulation. They're on the board here, and their proud captain, Vincent Kompany, will be the one to lift up the trophy tonight. What a moment for Belgian football, and this golden generation has gotten off to the best start ever. The dark horse, they were claimed in 2014, eliminated by Argentina in the quarters, but now in this Re-Simulation, they have their say and rewrite history. Spain's miracle run, their complete turnaround, was halted, and they lose out in the big dance, just like France did in 2010. The World Cup curse didn't continue on in the Re-Simulation. Like their neighboring nation, the Netherlands, they've never won one in real life, but this Re-Simulation paints a different picture. They're both on the board now, and it's, you know, it's fun to see a new nation take it home. There's your final confirmation. The Belgians take home the chocolates, and another 1-0 final, man. That's how it ended in 2014 too, so you can't say it's boring. Usually finals are tight and tense like this, and how different of a match would it have been if Fernando Torres started and that David Silva goal wasn't disallowed? How much differently would the game have been? You had Piqué who went down with an injury. So many factors playing against España as the player of the competition announced the Golden Ball winner. It was Messi in real life, but Lucas Podolski claims it here, with the Germans failing to recreate history with 5 goals in 5 appearances. Mario Götze scored the winning goal in real life, managed 2 throughout the tournament. Neymar, whose campaign was cut short with a brutal spinal injury or something to do with his back, got kneed in the back from Zuniga, and that ended his tournament short in the quarterfinals against Colombia. He scored 3 goals in 5 appearances. Belgium, the champions, final stats: Romelu Lukaku hit the post in the final. He could have had 6 goals, but Eden Hazard with 3. KDB, 3 goals and 2 assists, 5 goal contributions from the creative playmaker. And CR7, after a spellbinding campaign in South Africa, 4 years later, this Portugal team, we mentioned how mediocre they were. It was pretty much only him and Nani, but he didn't really help the cause with 1 goal, 2 goals and 1 for Luis Nani though. Meanwhile, Lionel Messi, you can really start to see his pure influence on his national team with 5 goals and 2 assists. With 7 goal contributions, he couldn't guide his team to the final like he did in real life, but that is better than any of Maradona's Re-Simulated performances. The roles have reversed with Messi and Ronaldo. He didn't show up in 2010, but he has made sure of it here in 2014. That he is a man on a mission, and the Messi versus Ronaldo debate, the Messi versus Ronaldo battle, will continue to rage on. As it's cool to see James Rodriguez, 2 goals in 3 games in the group stages, didn't quite reach the heights of his real life campaign, but it's good to see him actually be Colombia's best player alongside Costa Rica's Joel Campbell, who burst onto the scene in this tournament. And ladies and gentlemen, as much as I don't want to kiss it goodbye, that is a wrap on Brazil 2014, the World Cup that, despite its controversies, despite FIFA's corruption, we will remember it for the tournament and the memories that it delivered. On to 2018, where we're off to Russia. 4 years later, no need to fear, that is not a Philips Razorhead. It's just the Russia 2018 World Cup logo, resembling the shape of the iconic trophy, just like 2014's logo, which is a nice touch. And just on a side note, who remembers the Confederations Cup? I just remember nobody that has ever won the Confederations Cup ever went on to win the World Cup, and it was Brazil who won it in Brazil. They didn't win the final, and Russia 2017 was Germany. Now, Russia, I gotta say, it probably wasn't the most hyped up tournament in the world. The expectations were quite low going into this one, just in terms of people not really vibing with Russia being the host. I'm not gonna lie, I even had my doubts going into this tournament. It was another hosting selection marred by classic FIFA corruption. There were two fresh debutants on the scene, with Iceland fresh off their Viking clap antics at Euro 2016, and Panama from CONCACAF. I remember it was just pure pandemonium when they qualified. There was no US, no Italy, no Netherlands, Chile, Cameroon, the Ivory Coast. This tournament will be remembered for so many high-profile non-qualifiers. And in the end, it was the French who reigned victorious, getting their second star and adding to their 98 World Cup trophy. Against the underdogs Croatia, they got it done 4-1 in the final. Mbappe became the youngest goal scorer since Pelé to score at a World Cup final. It was 4-2 in the end, 6-goal thriller in one of the highest scoring World Cup finals of all time. Harry Kane ended up being the top goal scorer at the tournament with 6 goals. It was Luka Modric who won the Golden Ball, the best player at the tournament, after his heroics guiding his nation to their first ever World Cup final. The best young player was Kylian Mbappe, who pretty much was involved and started in every single game. He shot to prominence at a rapid rate and scoring a winning goal in the World Cup final at 19 years of age, I think he was. I was 1 year younger than him at the time, and I felt like I was useless. And you put it into perspective like that, it makes you think about things differently. But Russia, we won't forget, they had a monumental run to the quarterfinals. They were unlucky in the end, eliminated on penalties to the eventual finalist Croatia, and you can't forget Peru qualifying for the first time in decades. Oh man, I forgot the Splice Nigeria home shirt that literally sent the internet into raptures. It broke the internet when this kit dropped. Everyone wanted this shirt. And who could forget Germany, who had the same fate as Spain in 2014, continued on the champions curse. 4 years later, the defending champions were dumped out in the groups, and the German national team were in utter chaos. So they have a chance for redemption and to rewrite history. Iceland, whose goalkeeper was like a movie director or a dentist or something. Sweden had qualified for the World Cup, but without Zlatan, as he'd already retired from the national team or didn't really want to play with them. So let's take a look at the group stages to see how these teams are drawing up against each other. Group A shapes itself out like this, with the hosts Uruguay, Saudi Arabia, and Egypt. I remember there was a ton of controversy around Sergio Ramos injuring Mo Salah in the Champions League final. He qualified his nation and he wasn't 100% leading into this tournament, so he had minimal game time. And in Group B, it was Morocco, Spain, Iran, and Portugal. Oh, that 3-3 game between Spain and Portugal was one of the best games I've ever watched live. One of the best World Cup games ever. So let's hope we see some similar action here in Group C, where we've got France, the eventual champions, Denmark, Australia, and Peru. Group D, we've got Messi on a mission after their 2014 final loss, Nigeria, Iceland, the debutants, and Croatia. So that's going to be an entertaining battle. In Group B, we've got Costa Rica, Switzerland, Serbia, and Brazil. One of the more uneventful groups, but Brazil shouldn't see any problems qualifying out of here. They have enough in the tank, as it was the defending champions at the time, Germany, South Korea, Mexico, and Sweden, all wrapped up in a very tightly contested, interesting group. And Group G sees our re-simulated defending champions, Belgium, up against the Three Lions, New Boys Panama, and Tunisia. And last but not least, it's Group H with Colombia, Senegal, Japan, and Poland. And I remember that for the first time ever, Senegal didn't qualify through to the round of 16 due to the fair play rule. They had more yellow cards than Japan. It went down to a yellow card tie tiebreaker to see them grouped in the most brutal way. But again, like for every tournament, I'm eagerly keen to see some more football history unravel before our very eyes in our own little alternate dimension, our alternate World Cup timeline. What nations will rise up to the task? What nations will buckle under the pressure? And who will taste World Cup glory here in 2018. The group stage results are in, and Group A reads pretty much exactly how it did in real life, with Uruguay finishing on top, Russia getting that second spot, so the hosts advance into the next rounds, and Egypt and Saudi Arabia both say bye-bye. There's not much Mo Salah could have done for his nation there, and I just remember it was a race against time to get him back fit and ready for the World Cup, as it's Portugal to come through top of Group B with 3 wins, 9 points. Spain finished second as expected, and both Morocco and Iran are eliminated. The same exact results as real life, but that group ended up being way closer in the real World Cup. In Group C, we've got France and Peru making it out to the round of 16. Australia are rock bottom, nothing changes there, but Denmark miss out, and it's a small South American nation to get out through to the next rounds, and that is an underdog story if I've ever seen one. Group D, we've got Argentina finishing flawless on top alongside Croatia in second, and both Nigeria and Iceland are packing their bags on the way home. Group E, with Brazil finishing top, it ended up being a close affair with 5 points each. Switzerland make it out as Serbia and Costa Rica replicate their real life progress, finishing in third and fourth. And Group F, we've got Germany, who have rewritten history here, not getting embarrassed and humbled by the champions' curse as they assert their dominance on top with 3 wins, and Mexico finish in second. And we've got another tight margin of victory on display here, as it was on goal difference. Mexico made it out against both Sweden and South Korea, who all were on 3 points. Defending Re-Sim champions Belgium's golden generation are back, and they finished on top of Group G alongside England, who got 7 points as well in second. That group, again, it's another mirror image of real life. The puzzle pieces are falling into place, as Group H, to wrap it up, it's Poland and Colombia who came out alive. The Poles went from 4th to 1st, and it's Senegal again to finish in 3rd and not qualify for the next round. That has set us up with some mouth-watering fixtures here in the knockout rounds, where we're going to take a look at the left side of the bracket to start it off. We had the World Cup final, the real life final, take place in the round of 16, with France and Croatia going at it. A similar result there, with the French winning 3-1. We had Uruguay take down Spain in the round of 16, and that was the exact round they lost out in real life. Another disappointing campaign from España, as it was a 4-0 demolition job by Brazil over Mexico. The Mexicans' round of 16 curse lives on, and Belgium mustered up a 2-1 win over Colombia, which saw them advance into the next rounds. And in real life, they got the dub over Brazil. The South Americans prevailed with a 2-1 win, and it was France, another 2-1 win, saw them lock horns in the semi-finals in a rematch of that 2006 Re-Simulated final. And it was Brazil to have the last laugh, and they are now on a legendary run to the 2018 World Cup final for Neymar and co, defeating the real-life champions and the Re-Sim champions along the way. And now they have their place booked in the big dance. But who is going to meet them here in the right side of the bracket? Germany just edged out over the Swiss 2-1. We had England with a narrow 1-0 win against Poland. Portugal had a professional, comfortable display against the hosts and eliminated Russia 2-0. And Argentina with a 3-1 win over Peru in a South American clash, which set up what would have been the game of a lifetime between Portugal and Argentina. Messi versus Ronaldo in the quarterfinals. This would have gone off. After it finished 2-2, Ronaldo couldn't get the job done to see them through to the semi-finals up against the old enemy, their old rivals, England. England got one over their arch nemesis, Germany 1-0, and it was Argentina again with Captain Messi in inspired form. That has set up an all-South American battle, a World Cup final between Brazil and Argentina. A Super Clásico das Américas that we haven't seen the likes of since our Re-Simulation at the first ever World Cup all the way back in 1930. And in real life, we've never seen these two go head to head in a World Cup final. So you just know these two nations are going to give it their all, and there's just something about it. They both hate each other. Two countries that are incredibly passionate about their football, and it's an all South American bout for the world to see, as in third place it was France versus England in the third place playoff. The French take home the bronze instead of the gold this time around, and England finish fourth, just like in real life. Now the top goal scorer charts are definitely something to look into here, with Antoine Griezmann being at the top right now with 6 goals. Both Thomas Muller and finalist Neymar right behind him with 5 goals. So Neymar is in the hunt for not only the world title, but the golden ball. Both Hazard and Lukaku on 4 goals each. Roberto Firmino up there for Brazil too. Both him and Jamie Vardy tied on 4, with nobody in contention for the golden glove tonight. All gloves are off. Here is how the Seleção, who are in familiar territory here, they love a World Cup final. They've won 4 so far, and this could be their golden chance to equal Italy on top of the Re-Simmers list with 5. Unfortunately, they're going to have to do without their captain, Thiago Silva. He's injured and won't be participating tonight. They don't really have much centre-back cover, do they? Oh, Marquinhos is also injured too. This is a defensive nightmare for Brazil. Both their main centre-backs unable to participate, and we're in panic stations right now. That is my only solution to this, is they've got plenty of wing backs. They should have brought an extra defender, but nevertheless, it's what plenty of nations before them have had to deal with. Some of the main starters copping injuries or suspensions. I've slotted in their top goal scorer of the tournament, Roberto Firmino in this case, instead of Jesus Prime Neymar, who I'm going to give the captain's armband in what could be the Prince's crowning moment. They've got some pace. They've got some options in off the bench like Douglas Costa. Jesus is a super sub. Renato Augusto, who scored against Belgium in that quarterfinal. They have the potential to bring a 5th star back to Brazilian soil. As the Argentina squad they're facing, they're also missing their main center back due to injury. It's Otamendi, and replacing him will be Fazio, also on a yellow card. Their entire backline have taken inspiration off that 2010 Netherlands team. Now, instead of Aguero and Meza right behind Messi, this is how they lined up in their final 2018 World Cup appearance, with Perez at camp, and it was Christian Pavon to be on the right flank. Both Di Maria and Messi in attack, but this Argentinian squad was bang average. I mean, they had some superstar talents like Aguero, Higuain, and Dybala, but they were just on the bench. They barely featured, and it was all about Messi, a man who had lost 2 Copa America finals in a row, announced that he was quitting his national team only 2 years prior to this tournament. They played some absolute Terismo ball in this World Cup. Honestly, they were horrible to watch. However, they've redeemed themselves in this Re-Simulation. They've brought Messi to a World Cup final, and it's all about to go down here in Moscow, in the capital. But we have to take a look at the Russian World Cup match ball, the Adidas Telstar 18. And at the time, honestly, I wasn't much of a fan of this match ball. I absolutely adored every single World Cup ball in the 2000s and 2010s. But as soon as it came to Russia, I just did not vibe with this ball whatsoever. Over time, it has grown on me, just like the tournament, and their special knockout round / final football was like a red version of the design. For some reason, they didn't have a finals exclusive ball. Like, this was the ball used in all knockout matches. There wasn't like a special gold edition just for the final, which I found strange. It's the Luzhniki Stadium, which will be the venue tonight for the South American Super Final between these two powerhouses, not only of their region, but of world football. And what a beautiful venue. We've got the Russian flag lights in the stadium. That is what they're fighting for. 5 World Cup titles are on the line for Brazil. Argentina just want to get on the board again. They haven't won one in this Re-Simulation for years now. And in Russia, they want to break the duck with their golden son, with Messi. Maradona failed to win them a World Cup in the Re-Sim, and now it's Messi's chance. Roberto Firmino is in fine form for the Brazilians, so let's see if he is going to be the man for the day. Or will Philippe Coutinho, a Neymar, modern day star that didn't get the flowers that they deserved because Ronaldo and Messi were so dominant in this era. But nevertheless, the World Cup graphics package, the World Cup branding of this Russia tournament was just so aesthetically pleasing, and it's good to see it plastered around the stadium. Just over 78,000 people were packed packed in the stands to witness the final in real life. I just hope there isn't any Fortnite goal celebrations in this World Cup final. So much on the line. It's Messi versus Neymar. It's World Cup final football live from Moscow. And the last time these two met in a World Cup final, that was the last time Argentina were crowned champions. That was the last time Argentina touched the World Cup trophy. So it's nearly been 100 years since they've won one in this resim. Can they revive themselves in the international game? It would be a story like no other, as Di Maria, he's closing in on goal here. He's got some Brazilian defenders in front of him and he goes for it. Alisson, grateful to clutch that one. The first time a World Cup hadn't received a standalone video game from EA Sports, who had the FIFA license at the time. So it was another major factor to why people weren't as hyped for this World Cup, especially us people in the football gaming scene. As Neymar's first few touches in the final, Casemiro goes for the shot. It's Mascherano who had a handball in the box, but the referee saw nothing. And this was revolutionary as the first World Cup ever to have VAR, or a video replay system, tournament that had a lot of technological advancements, as Marcelo has to clear that Messi cross. But Neymar trying to inject some life into this game. Mascherano takes him out. It's all fair in love and war, says the referee. But Neymar looks like he's gone here, and it's shades of 2014. All of a sudden, has he had his Colombia Zuniga moment? Mascherano has dealt a punishing blow to Neymar. And could that be game over for the prince that never became king? And it's Douglas Costa to replace him. Unbelievable. He might have dived like crazy throughout the tournament in real life, but that one wasn't a dive. He got hurt bad and didn't even last half an hour in this World Cup final. But all of a sudden, it's Felipe Coutinho one-on-one. And there is your goal for Neymar. He's going to dedicate that one to the Brazilian poster boy, as the Liverpool man opens up the scoring here in the 2018 World Cup final. It was a flick-on header from Bobby Firmino, the Liverpool link-up front. And one-on-one with Armani, he slots it into the back of the net. A little toe poke into the back of the net. And what a way. This is a roller coaster of emotions for Brazilians right now. They've lost Neymar, but literally 5 seconds later, they've scored the opening goal against Argentina. And this World Cup final has just gone from 0 to 100 real quick. We hadn't even had time to process the substitution of Costa onto the pitch, as Willian already involved. Coutinho's now stepping up to the plate. He wants to avenge Neymar, and it's a header down, forced for a corner. Brazil are on smoke. Argentina don't know what have hit them, and Javier Mascherano, what have you caused? What drama, what theatre. The beautiful game continues to provide. Firmino's won another header though, and this could launch a Brazilian counter-attack, with Felipe Coutinho finding so many passes, but Javier Mascherano is everywhere, and that will be half-time. Brazil is a goal to the good. At what cost? They have lost their star boy. They've had to sacrifice him, and Moscow will never be the same. Now, the Argentines, they aren't going to win this match on dirty play. No one ever won a match for winning fouls. They need to play that beautiful football. They need to get Messi involved more. And Brazil, I guess, just got to keep on keeping on. Will their World Cup weight go begging, as Alisson will take those all day? Messi isn't winning any headers in the box, so I don't know why Di Maria's crossing it. Roberto Firmino does, though, and his flick-ons have been crucial. First substitution of the match here, and it's going to be a midfield change. It's Casemiro coming off, and I'm guessing Fernandinho will replace him. There he is. It is Christian Pavon coming off. He's been their brightest spark in attack, but it's Paulo Dybala, another left-footed magician, who'll be taking his place, and deservedly so. He's an absolute baller. And Tagliafico, a deep delivery on the inside. Dybala headers down. It's Messi's first shot on target. And again, Alisson will take those all day. And Roberto Firmino wins another big header. As we switch up for another substitution, it's going to be Willian, who has really came to life in this second half. He'll be replaced by Renato Augusto. Or will he shy away from greatness? Mercado with a lofted ball on the inside to Messi, who flicks in a header. And again, these crosses inside to a man who's 5'5" aren't going to work, mate. Bobby Firmino, on the other hand, has won every single aerial battle. Giovanni Lo Celso, it's the last throw of the dice for Argentina, as Perez comes off into the final third. He finds Tagliafico, Dybala, intricate play on the inside, and this chipped cross into Messi. It's just not going to happen, and Renato Augusto smashes the ball clear as far as he can get it. It's all bodies behind the ball for Brazil. Messi with the chip ball inside to no one. Messi proving to have another stinker on the world stage, whether it's in real life or in a re-simulation where everything is on the line. The lights are shining the brightest, and he has failed to deliver on all accounts. But with one last roll of the dice, no, Alisson again has read Argentina's playbook to a T. Argentina are running out of time. The clock's against them, and Brazil win the ball back in a very dangerous area. Renato Augusto finds Roberto Firmino, now up against 3 defenders. No one dares goes in attack with him. Douglas Costa now. Brazil are just holding on to the ball, wasting as much time as they can. Is the referee going to give them one last attacking moment? And no, they failed to produce anything of note throughout the whole 90 minutes. And it was a Neymarless Brazil after the half-hour mark who reigned supreme. And just like that, with a Coutinho moment of brilliance, it was 5 World Cups now on the board for Brazil. They have equaled Italy in the Re-Sim winners list. Not only that, they've equaled what they've achieved in real life, becoming the second nation to do so, and they join Italy on top of the podium with one final tournament left to go. We had the backup captain. First, we had Thiago Silva out. Marquinhos was out. Neymar gifted the captain's armband, but gone off injured in a stretcher. And now it's Danilo, of all players. They love their right backs lifting up a trophy, just like Cafu did all those years ago. It's Danilo to repeat that process. And now the Brazilians can bask in the glory, bask in the celebrations of being the best of South America, the best in the world. And the Seleção, they were battered, they were bruised, copping injuries to key players, but they kept on keeping on and remained persistent against their bitter rivals and proved a point here tonight in Moscow. The Luzhniki Stadium has seen the conclusion to this South American battle, and it was tough, it was tense, it was physical, but it was Felipe Coutinho to write his name into World Cup folklore. With Brazil being shameless, 1 shot, 1 on target, 1 goal against your arch rivals. That is prime rage bait if I've ever seen it. And there is your confirmation. I mean, they'd already taken down some World Cup heavyweights in the process. Their path to the final was extremely difficult, so I guess Messi's wait for a World Cup continues. And Neymar, it's confirmed that he suffered an ACL injury in the final. That is one of the worst injuries you can get. Take it from me, who has undergone an ACL rupture. It is a horrible injury, and in real life, injuries have low-key ruined his career. But in this re-simulation, it's Messi to win the Golden Ball, the player of the tournament. However, he doesn't go home with the goods, just like in 2014. Scoring 4 goals and 2 assists on his way to the final was enough to win him the Player of the Tournament award. However, that performance in the big dance where it really mattered, his 6 goal contributions went to waste as he didn't show up in the final whatsoever. 3 goals for Angel Di Maria. Both Paulo Dybala off the bench and Marcos Acuna managed to score 2 each. They were just a mess. I mean, it was like trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. They had puzzle pieces there, but the team chemistry was off. I don't know whether it was to do with the manager or the players or, you know, Messi just unable to click with his teammates. But they didn't deserve to win that one, not by a long shot, as here are your champions. Neymar, I reckon, robbed of that Golden Ball award. 5 goals and 7 appearances, guiding his nation to the final, getting unfairly taken out in the final, only 30 minutes in, shades of Ronaldo in Euro 2016. The unsung hero Roberto Firmino, 4 goals and 2 assists, a very prolific outing for him in Russia, as it was Felipe Coutinho, only 2 appearances, and he got the goal that was most important. He picked his time to shine and stand up, and he did exactly that. Meanwhile, Willian, Fernandinho, and Tyson also managed to get on the score sheet. And as for the rest of the nations, no real players standing out besides Jamie Vardy and Harry Kane, this strike duo with 7 goals between them. England replicated their run in real life, heading towards the semi-finals with Gareth Southgate. It was a summer that the English won't forget, as Antoine Griezmann's 7 goal contributions, no fortnight dances was to be seen in Moscow as the French fell short, but 4 goals and 3 assists for Mbappe. He was only 19 at the time too. There were so many other worthy players other than Messi to take home the player of the tournament. That's the Messi PR for you. All right, speaking of Messi, let's see how he compared to CR7 with 1 goal and 1 assist. It's another disappointing outing for Ronaldo and Portugal at the World Cup. But Russia, thanks for the memories. It was nice to relive it again and all the storylines that this competition provided. I mean, the World Cup, it's never a dull affair. There's always something. People look back at Russia 18 and recognize it for the underrated gem it was, as they were unaware how the next tournament in 4 years' time would change the trajectory of the FIFA World Cup for the rest of time. The 2022 World Cup in Qatar was a game changer in more ways than one. It was the first time the tournament was held in the Middle East. It was the first time a World Cup was held in winter. I mean, we went from a summer World Cup for nearly 100 years, and now due to how hot Qatar gets in summer, FIFA needed to shift the World Cup in the middle of the season. Every competitive league took a month and change off, and there was a massive break for the tournament to take place. Honestly, we'd seen nothing like it before. Not that we knew it at the time, but this would be the last World Cup with 32 teams participating and qualified before the expansion to 48 teams now that we're going to see next year in 2026. FIFA have decided to expand it again to get more revenue, more matches, more nations to participate. But focusing back on Qatar, now this was probably one of the most controversial, highly contested, and just straight up corruption at its finest. When they were announced as hosts in 2010, it put the whole world into shock. The whole footballing sphere was questioning this decision by FIFA. And I mean, air-conditioned stadiums had to be built so that the players wouldn't overheat, and the conditions were suitable for all parties involved. And it will go down as probably one of the most corrupt World Cup final bids of all time. I mean, I know people now look back on it with so many memories, like Messi winning the World Cup, possibly one of the greatest World Cup finals of all time. Football aside, there was a lot of off-field drama, a lot of scandals, the treatment of migrant workers building the stadium, people dying building stadiums. This World Cup just, it gave me and a lot of people the ick. But what FIFA and the host nation can't take away from us is the brilliant football, the players, the memories, the national pride on display, the nostalgia in what is a football fan's Christmas. A World Cup year just hits different. However, a World Cup winter doesn't really have the same ring to it, as it's going to be Argentina defending their crown. After his 5th attempt, it was finally successful, and our Re-Simulation winners defending their crown. It's Brazil, who could potentially go on and win the Re-Simulation with 6, as Italy didn't qualify again for the 2nd time in a row, and the one and only debutant was in fact the hosts, Qatar. It's a tournament that's fresh in the memory, the most recent World Cup in this video. So let's give this bad boy a spin for one last ride. We already got a quick look at the group stages. We probably don't need too much reminding, but another reason I wasn't too keen on this World Cup. But again, EA let us down back to back. 2018 World Cup, we got the free Russia DLC, and again right here where I'm on FIFA 23, we got the free DLC, which was just a shell in comparison to the standalone World Cup video games that I will praise till the dawn of time. They're the pinnacle of football gaming, and I'll die on that hill. But nevertheless, these are your group stages. You had Morocco's miracle run to the semi-finals, setting the record for African nations, and Qatar were just humiliated on their own patch, being the first hosts to ever go out in the group stages here. So let's re-simulate this bad boy and see what kind of results we get. By going back on FIFA 23, this is the only way we can get a result. So here is how the group stages played out here, with Qatar redeeming themselves. After finishing bottom of the group, they have gone through to the round of 16. The top 2 progressed alongside the Netherlands, who finished top. Ecuador and Senegal both sent home. Over in Group B, it was England and Wales. The UK made successful there, as Iran grouped. The US finished rock bottom. Messi and Argentina saw no problems in Group C, topping the group alongside Poland, Saudi Arabia, and Mexico will bow out there. Group D to see Australia rock bottom this time. Denmark, who were crowned the dark horses of this competition after their semi-final finish in Euro 2021. They topped this group here perfect alongside real-world finalist France. This is their last shot to get on the board as they still are yet to win, just like Germany, who have topped Group E. 5 final losses and counting, but they've got one last chance as them and Japan come through. Spain absolutely tanked. A terrible campaign from them, which saw them finish with 1 point. Shades of 2014. Costa Rica above them in third, but they still go home. That is a huge shock to see Spain gone so early. Over in Group F, it was Belgium's golden generation. After getting off to a promising start in 2014, they were grouped by Croatia and Morocco, who progressed through to the round of 16. Longtime absentees Canada are eliminated in rock bottom, as it's Group G to see Brazil finish on top. Our Re-Sim defending champions are through alongside Serbia. Meanwhile, it's Switzerland and Cameroon who have to say goodbye. And finally, Group H see CR7. His Portugal side have risen out of there alongside Uruguay on goal difference, I believe. Yeah, Ghana -1. They were on 4 points too, but it wasn't enough as South Korea are in last place. And now we've got some updated menus. We can go through the rounds one by one. Instead of the tournament tree, on one side of the bracket, it was the Netherlands to demolish Wales 3-0. Argentina versus France. The final in real life actually took place in the round of 16. There you go. It was Messi to get the better over Mbappe with another tight 2-1 win. Poland took down Denmark, the perfect dark horses who look like they were onto something special, and it's England who sent the hosts packing. A 2-1 win over Qatar for the Three Lions. And in the second batch of matches, we've got Morocco on penalties to win 4-3 over Germany. Wow, a huge upset there, which confirms Germany going absolutely blank in this entire Re-Simulation. My brother, that is harsh, as Brazil remind the world who the Re-Sim champions are after a dominating display against Uruguay in the South American clash. Japan got one better over the 2018 finalist Croatia 2-0, and it was Portugal to edge past Serbia 1-0 to progress into the quarterfinals, where we now had Morocco's run cut short. They didn't make the semis like in real life, being stopped by Brazil 2-1. Argentina got a 3-1 win over the Netherlands in what was a crazy encounter. Such a tense match, a grudge match in many cases, that saw punches thrown, new beef created, and the Albiceleste make sure that the Netherlands don't get through to the semis. And Portugal with a 5-3 8-goal epic over Japan, who have punched above their weight, and the Asian nation putting up an almighty effort. And England versus Poland was the final match, where it saw the Three Lions win 5-4 on penalties. After it finished 1-1, Gareth Southgate's men are into the semi-finals, and the semi-finals unfolded with a 2018 Re-Sim final rematch, with Argentina taking on Brazil, and this time it was Messi's Albiceleste to win 3-1 against the Seleção and get their get back. They got revenge and booked their ticket into the World Cup final, just like in real life. And in the Europe semi-final, it was Portugal in another high-scoring thriller, where CR7 eliminated England again, just like in Euro 2004, in a 5-goal thriller, got the 3-2 win. And now both these nations have a date with destiny. Argentina versus Portugal. It only means one thing. It's Messi versus Ronaldo, the two GOATs of our time, of this generation. What a treat we've got for ourselves here. To send off this mini-series with a bang, if this matchup happened in real life, the internet would be broken. If it's any consolation prize for the English, they did manage to finish in third place in the playoff game between Brazil with a 2-1 win, which was an improvement on their result in Russia. But yeah, this is the dream scenario. So let's take a look at the numbers and check in on the top goal scorers list, where we have Richarlison with 8 goals in 7 matches. He is leading the way by far, as Scott Olsen with 6 for Denmark in only 4 matches. Meanwhile, Harry Kane with 5 goals. It was actually Kylian Mbappe with 8 goals who won the Golden Boot, but we had Depay with 5 and Bruno Fernandes snuck his way in the top 5 with 4. I can't believe that is the highest tally we've seen from a goal scorer in these Re-Simulations, and it's Richarlison of all 4 players leading that stat, as the assist chart sees Messi on top. He could surpass his competitors like Nathan Ake and Slimane of Tunisia tonight if he was to pull through, as Demi Martinez and Diogo Costa to fight out for that Golden Glove tonight. Both tied on 2 clean sheets. So let's take a look at how both sides are going into tonight at the Lusail Stadium. It's Argentina, and it's easy for this one because we've given them the exact same lineup, the exact same formation and players that they started with Messi fighting for his GOAT status and for Argentina's next world crown, leading as the captain in this 3-pronged attack with Julian Alvarez, the rookie, and Di Maria, the other veteran in the squad. It was a breakout tournament for Enzo Fernandez. He announced himself on the world scene as McAllister and Rodrigo de Paul join him in midfield, as I've given them the exact same bench, the exact same substitutes that they brought on in the final, as they'll be up against the Portuguese, who at the time were having a little bit of a dilemma between Gonçalo Ramos and Cristiano Ronaldo up top. I'm going to go based off their lineup against Morocco, where they bowed out 1-0, and just give them the most realistic lineup possible, even though they've got better players on the bench like an 89 rated Ronaldo, Rafa Leao, an 88 rated Joao Cancelo. I know, it doesn't really make sense in terms of, quality on the pitch, but that's the system that Martinez opted for. And yeah, it was tough to see Ronaldo used as a substitute. However, in this match, at this magnitude, I think if it was a Ronaldo versus Messi final, they'd have to start CR7. No questions about it. Surely. Arguably, they were playing better without him, but come on, man. You have to find some humility in your heart for the box office to get people hyped. If they weren't hyped enough, here is how they line up against each other on paper, side by side. And the World Cup match ball used in this tournament was the Arras Al Rila, which you're seeing on your screens. However, for the semi-finals and final, the Arras Al Hilm was used, and it's not added into the official licensed game. Yet a free mod could add every single World Cup match ball in history into the game. Nevertheless, not really too much of a fan of this one. It's quite mid. Even the final ball is just okay. It's probably like the first mid match ball since the 80s, but I do love the final edition, how it's kind of got that gold sheen all over, and it's got the Qatari colors woven into the design, which is quite cool. But the normal standard match ball, it's just okay. But this means more. 2 nations, 2 GOATs, and it's the final battle to end the debate. On the biggest of stages, this is going to be good, as we embark on what is going to be the night of all nights here in Doha, the dream final, the end of an era. And what a venue to do it at. The fans are out ready, they're partying, they're in the mood, everyone is hyped, so this game better deliver. But it's looking more and more likely that the GOATs are going to continue on in the USA, Mexico, and Canada next year. They could quite possibly be involved in, 5 or 6 World Cups? The longevity, the consistency is crazy, and this is the final World Cup final we have to witness tonight at the Lusail Stadium. Both nations, both teams are walking out with one thing on their mind. It is that iconic trophy they both want to desperately lift. It's all the 2 talismans have ever dreamed of. And in this Re-Simulation, they get the chance to fight for it simultaneously on the pitch. As Portugal have just never won the World Cup, full stop. Argentina want their first in over 92 years. 1930 was the last time they lifted up that bad boy. This Re-Simulation has not been kind to them. They want to avenge that humiliation in 2018 and make sure Messi gets the ultimate send-off by not losing 2 World Cup finals in a row. So I'll come down to this, people. Buckle up, as 88,966 people were scrambling for tickets to get their spot to witness this live. You could have sold out in a 1 million-seater stadium for a World Cup final between these 2 nations, and I'm sure it would have sold out with ease. Di Maria, he won a penalty in the World Cup final. Can he cause the same trickery as they're both attacking with intent? It's Alexis McAllister who sets up Lionel Messi on a golden platter, and he takes his chance in the 11th minute. It's Lionel pointing to the heavens as he makes his mark on this World Cup final Re-Sim. He was absent He was a ghost in 2018, but he's put those demons behind him, and with a devastating strike that cracks the back of the net, Diogo Costa couldn't even react in time, getting Argentina a goal to the good. It is game on. And now, Ronaldo, you've got 80 minutes to respond, mate. What can you conjure up? Inside 10 minutes, but now Argentina aren't happy with one. Oh my days, they want two, and that could have been the second with a scramble. And look at this, McAllister finds Messi again, and this time Diogo Costa meets it, palms it out for a corner. Messi is on a mission tonight. He doesn't want to let history be rewritten. He doesn't want Portugal to get one over them here in 2022. And look at him, he looks determined. He wants to keep his 2022 crown and that black cloak they gave him for some reason, as Otamendi fires in. Finds Otavio. Now Portugal putting together some decent passage of play, and Ronaldo with his moment, he offloads to Tagliafico. No, it was just offside. Ronaldo getting pocketed by Otamendi so far. I never thought I'd utter those words. Oh, a lovely little chip ball over the top. Delo's offside again, mate. Do you even know the offside rules? As a Manchester United fan, I don't know why they've started him at this World Cup, but hey, Roberto Martinez knows best. Portugal, Ronaldo, he's onside. Joao Felix back in the mix. The first shot on target doesn't trouble Emi Martinez, though. The Magnifico gonna do. Off to Dalot again, who is having a generational stinker. Julian Alvarez, are they going to get one more chance before the halftime whistle? Rodrigo de Paul nearly set up Messi for the second. It's Ronaldo who's down on his luck right now. Rodrigo de Paul, and it's a through ball into Enzo Fernandez. It's blocked. 2 volleys, and Portugal are living on a knife's edge at the moment. They're nervous. They're giving the ball away, and they're leaving players open like Rodrigo de Paul, and it's gone out for a corner. Rafael Guerrero, he's got Joao Felix making a nice run. Ronaldo on the inside, and CR7 spreads it out wide. Does the unselfish thing with Bruno Fernandes going for the spectacular. Wants to take on this entire Portugal team. McAllister finds him again. Oh my days, it is champagne football. The end product for both teams has been called into action. Joao Felix had Ronaldo running in there, and now Molina, the right back, I think is going to go in the book. It's a red card. Argentina down to 10 men, and Molina, he's just had a brain fart moment, as I think Argentina are bringing on defender Rafael on for Portugal here. They are going to go for it. That just shakes up the entire complexity of the match completely. And Ronaldo, oh my god, that looked like he was about to get a red card. A player's gone down for Portugal, and now Argentina on the counter-attack. Leao's just come on, and he's gone down with an injury. What is happening here? As Argentina play on, they get their second in what is going to be a controversial goal. VAR, where are you when we need you? Because Messi now has gotten himself an assist in the final. Rodrigo de Paul slams it home, and on the counter-attack, Argentina have doubled their lead. It's all happening here in Qatar. Injuries, red cards, controversial goals. Look at that. Leao barely had 2 minutes on the pitch, and he got injured, now replaced by Horta in off the bench. What are we witnessing? Are we going to see a Sui in a World Cup final? It doesn't look like it so far, but the CR7 isn't going to give up that easy. Unbelievable stuff here, but Argentina aren't going to rest on their laurels, and Rodrigo de Paul, he's linking up with his best mate Messi. McAllister, Rodrigo de Paul in for the third, and Diogo Costa is making sure the Portuguese don't get embarrassed, as Acuna now comes off on for Tagliafico, and it's Goncalo Ramos to replace Ruben Neves. Is he going to deal the final blow? Offloads to McAllister. He finds Rodrigo de Paul again, and I'm surprised it's not 4 or 5 yet. Goncalo Ramos doing step overs like CR7. You've got Horta fresh off the bench. Back on the inside to Ramos, and that is a spurned opportunity if I've ever seen one, and he knows it. And the final substitution's happening here. It's a defensive change as McAllister comes off for Lisandro Martinez. Slumps forward, Ronaldo into the path of Ramos again, and he's gone for another long shot here. Goncalo not being clinical enough in front of net. 5 minutes left on the clock. Bruno needs a good delivery, and he offloads to Pepe, and it's the most unlikely of goal scorers, the captain, their cult hero Pepe, the master of the defending dark arts. And I don't know why he's celebrating, because they need a second, but what a finish. It was a striker's finish from the veteran, and Pepe is not usually known for his top corner finishes. and he put on some beautiful spin away from Emi Martinez. Two keepers wouldn't have saved that. But the center back has put a bit of life into this game now. They've halved the deficit here, and we could be in for a grandstand finish. How much added time are they going to get, though, as Argentina still carry forward here with 10 men. Bruno wins it back, and we're about to see what the fourth official will raise up. Portugal just streaming men forward. They got 3 minutes here on the counter attack. Goncalo Ramos, what are you doing? He should have offloaded the ball out left. He gets caught out in possession. And I think Messi's offside. No, he continues on. Lionel Messi sets up the third. And it's case closed for Argentina. Signed, sealed, and delivered. Messi wins the World Cup for his nation. And it's the Albi Celeste to get their second World Cup title in this Re-Simulation. In the most dramatic of circumstances, it's 2 assists for Leo Messi in the final, who was involved in every single goal. And on the counter-attack, Goncalo Ramos just let his nation down so many times in the final third. And that's the hammer blow. They were fluid in the attack. They were absolutely precise going forward. And Portugal just looked lost sometimes. They had a godsend. They had time on their side. There were 3 added minutes. But that's how the cookie crumbles. Messi wins it over Ronaldo. And CR7, I don't know if he could have ever recovered from this, but I'm keen to see them go head-to-head and do battle in 2026 next year, or depending when you're watching this, maybe even this year. He did it in real life. Argentina are going to replicate history and lift up the 2022 World Cup, getting their second star on top of the jersey in this Re-Sim. World champions now both in 1930 and 2022. 2 completely different eras. 2 different time periods. It's almost a different game. See how far we've come with this Re-Simulation back when they were playing with long pants on muddy pitches in broken down stadiums. Now we've reached the pinnacle here, simulated through nearly 100 years of World Cup history, and it's the South Americans who get the last laugh. And in this timeline, 2022 belongs to Argentina and one man. We finally have some cool new player announcements in the menus, like goalkeeper of the tournament. He didn't keep a clean sheet in the final, but Emi Martinez will take home that individual accolade. It was Richarlison who wins the golden boot fair and square. I mean, 8 goals is absolutely crazy. And the player of the tournament, he also takes that one too. So he might have lost out in the semi-finals, but 2 major prizes at a World Cup is nothing to scoff at. And there you go, Messi right next to his prized possession. And for the first time, we get a team of the tournament announcement, pretty much including every single Argentinian player, plus Richarlison, plus Stones and Luke Shaw. We've re-simulated through every World Cup tournament ever. And here are your final results, the final standings of the winners list. We had 3 nations get on the board once, including Uruguay in 1950, Poland's win in 74, and that Belgian golden generation in 2014. 3 countries won a double, including Hungary in 1938 and 54. Leoranje, the Netherlands, who have never won one in real life, were victorious in 1978 and rewriting history and getting revenge in 2010. And of course, it was Argentina to wait to the final moments to secure their second with a win in 1930 and 2022. We had the English triple their wins and successes at World Cups, not only replicating that 1966 glory, but prevailed through against the hosts in Italia 90 and won a penalty shootout against the Germans in 02, as there were 2 nations joint on top. So I guess you can say England are the runners-up technically, but both Brazil and Italia won 5 World Cup trophies throughout the entire Re-Sim, with my Azzurri, the Italians, getting it done all before the 21st century, and Brazil making up for lost time, winning their recent ones in 06 and 2018. They were world champions in 3 different eras. Not many nations can say that. Producing a consistent crop of talents for decades upon decades. So they're going to have to share the spotlight and share the podium with Italy. So tell me, what do you think about the results? Who's been robbed? Who's overachieved? Who did you expect to win more? I mean, Germany, no Spain. They were completely unsuccessful in this experiment. And like, so long, and it was a mission, but I'm glad I got it done. And it's so fun going through World Cup history with you guys and, you know, reading all your comments, seeing all the support. It was a monster task, and I hope I have done it justice. I hope you lot enjoyed this little mini series. I'll catch you all next time for the World Cup hype in 2026. I've been your boy, Sir BCHD. Have a great day. I love you all, and I'll catch you later. Bye.